Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Boy. It is John Boy time. I am your host, John Fahey. Joining me as ever, prettiest boy under the sun, Aaron Joseph Peter.
Sup?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
To your right, my left, the Frenchman henchman, handsome Matt Brousseau.
Hi.
How are you?
Hola. Bonjour.
Aaron, you got something for us?
Yeah, man. I want to tell you guys about this cool fucking thing I started learning about. Did you know there was a black samurai?
No.
Bro.
I knew there's a white samurai.
Oh, Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
He was the last one.
Yeah, he was less samurai.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy's African samurai. Black samurai.
That's cool.
His name is Yasuke.
Mm.
And I got to give you a little bit of context. Japan is a very, it's a country with a rich and sordid history. It's very interesting. It's very isolated for a very long time, but still had just a lot of different periods, a lot of ins and outs. Very, very, almost alien culture to most of the cultures that we've talked about in terms of what, European,
Right.
white, industrial, Western civilizations. So in the middle of the second millennium, 1100 to 1900 or to 1900, they went through a lot of different periods. And because they were isolated, they kind of kept the same culture and technology. They were kind of in the same sword and sandals period for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet the sandals were really comfortable.
They were really nice.
Yeah.
The kind like you wear the socks in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Quite nice.
So I'm going to be kind of during the period when Japan was run by shoguns. Cool. And shoguns were basically a military dictatorship. And the shogunate was a top-down. They had the guy, and then down into like different daimyos, which were kind of the warlords of their different.
They had lords and people would work for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, feudal Japan is where we're talking about.
Yeah.
And in 1464, a shogun named Ashikaga Yoshimasa was about to die, and he did not have a biological heir.
Shit.
And so a struggle broke out to decide who was going to take over him in the event of his death. And initially he named his brother to the position, but he had an unplanned son the following year. He had just one.
Right before he died.
He was I'm going to shoot first, is what he said.
Uh-huh.
And he did. And it worked. And so the birth of his son led to a lot of conflict between himself, his wife, and his brother's family, because his brother was like, chomping at the bit to be the next guy. Meanwhile, this little baby infant is going to be the one who's going to run shit. And so in 1467, war had broken out amongst all the clans and the family. And the battle between the two brothers got even crazier at that point because he officially named his son the heir as a 3-year-old. And that fighting went on for like 10 years and covered most of the country, involving all the daimyo, all the clans all over. And in 1477, the war ended, not because anybody like really won, because they got tired of fighting and they ran out of resources. And
good God.
This is also because like at that time, and still kind of currently, about only like 20-25% of Japan is like really good for farming and livestock.
Really?
And so a lot of the wars in Japan, all the civil war in Japan is
the good land.
It's about the good land, like anywhere, like anything else. Right?
Yeah.
And so although there was no winner of this conflict, which would be called the Onin War, this would go on to create what is called the Sengoku period. And that's where most of our story is going to take place. The Sengoku period is like even more drama, more bloodshed, more battles, more civil war. It's called the Warring States period, and it is like the beginning of centuries more of warfare between the different factions and clans that were in control of Japan at the time.
So they hadn't solved it.
No, it got worse.
Yeah.
It saw changes in its governmental structure and its social class system, all of it revolving around the samurai. And the samurai are the Japanese equivalent of like the knights in Europe. their code. The knights have their chivalry, their code of ethics and honor. Samurai have bushido.
Yeah.
In fact, samurai are also called the bushi. So bushido is do is like the way of.
This is the way.
This is the way. You could call them like the Jedi.
Jedi could have even been based on.
You could say Jedi. Well, master and the Padawan. You've got the samurai and his master.
I am your father.
The Sengoku period lasted about 150 years, and
They kicked it up a notch. And then when the rebel group known as the Iko-Iki got involved, the samurai found a new enemy other than just the other clans. It was like a band of commoners and local leaders. It was the Brotherhood Without Banners.
That's right.
And they were against the whole shogun state?
That's right. They were just like, we're tired of this bullshit.
Fuck this.
They opposed the daimyo, so like the local warlords, and they didn't want have the samurai to hold that power either.
So like the basically the people who had no say in anything were like, well,
Why don't we
should fight now.
There's more of us than there
Everybody
are
is
of them.
fighting.
And all we have is fucking swords.
Right.
Like all anybody has is swords. In fact, Japan.
Matt, did you say everyone was kung fu fighting?
I did not say that, John.
Another name for this era is the age of the country at war. There's still
like before it wasn't?
I know.
It's every country though.
Yeah.
There's no long-lasting peace.
Yeah. The country still functioned on their caste system, even though it was slowly dissolving as the years would go by. But samurai were still near the top, followed by peasants, farmers, and merchants.
The samurai did get rid of the frikido?
The iki. Well, I mean, there's always going to be the commoners and the merchants and the peasants, but
Right.
that uprising was kind of quelled.
People's Army.
Right. The emperor and his nobility were at the top. Shogun were just below. Then the daimyo, and the shogun worked for them. And the shogun even then had their own little system of caste, right? And then below the ranking of samurai is the ronin, and that's the samurai with no master, right? And they're still respected, but not really, not as much as a samurai.
Yeah, they're like,
Because usually they did something to be kicked out of their clan, or he died and they didn't have their own shit set up ready to go. And then there was like, the peasants and the merchants, and then artisans were even lower than the peasants, and then slaves, and then all that stuff. And the country was also very.
And the samurai serves the
daimyo.
The daimyo.
Yeah.
DAIMMYO.
Yeah. But then it's also like, who's really calling the shots when you're the guy with the big stick?
Sure.
So sometimes there's just.
Yeah. But the Ronin is just like, I sure do miss my daimyo.
Here I go again on the road again,
Wow.
I guess.
Guess I'll take my knapsack on a stick.
That's like a Bruce Banner. Hitchhiking my way down the road, trying not to get angry.
I'm a trained fighter.
Boy, this armor's heavy. So Japan, because of its government, but also because of its geography, was very isolated.
Yes.
It's only like 30, 40 miles away from Korea, and it's very close to Japan. And all, but the seas between those lands were fraught with pirates.
Yep.
And there's not like a tremendous, it's small. So it doesn't...
Too small.
Right. No, too small. Doesn't fly off when you're driving down the road.
Yeah, I think it just one thing that stuck with me so far since you said it that I'm interested in thinking about is the good land you said is about 20% of the country, and that would be where probably like that's not grazing land. That's fucking
agriculture.
That's just agriculture. So that's why it kind of explains why they're so into beef and fish.
Yeah,
because there's just only so much shit you can grow.
Yeah, and if you're growing a lot of rice and root vegetables, because a lot of Japan is also snowy.
Yeah.
But that's also why beef too, because you can fatten them up. That's how you get the delicious. That's when you get into
the crazy marbling and all that.
You fatten them up.
It's so interesting.
It's so crazy how just like geography and weather and topography will influence the government and the diet.
Oh yeah, I mean not only that, like fucking just cultivating it like into a delicacy. Like, you know,
we took this
if
radish.
we couldn't grow asparagus here, so now we massage cattle. Like, what?
Yeah, we don't have these other. So we soak a root in the ground for a year in vinegar.
I know he started fucking massaging those cattle. It was some fucking Ronin.
Oh yeah, he's lonely Ronin.
Yeah, lonely Ronin.
Didn't massage back, unfortunately.
Oh, my ride's here.
So, you know, the country and the culture became stagnant in a lot of ways because of its sheltering itself and not spreading new ideas back and forth, and travel was restricted and it was dangerous because not only of the outside world with pirates and looting and all that, but just going between the warring prefectures. You know,
Sure.
You're leaving your daimyo and shogun's protection, you could get murked up by some samurai, you know, a few clicks away.
Yeah.
So it was just very
Say the wrong thing.
It was sheltered within its own shelter. Like it was just very isolated and almost balkanized, if you will. And therefore it was also very uncommon to run into a foreigner of any kind. All you saw was Japanese people.
Sure.
You would see Koreans and you would see Chinese, I suppose. But you're very rarely seeing any Westerners, and you're not seeing any brown people at that time. I mean, later you would, but for the vast majority of its history, you weren't. And then a lot of the foreign influence of Japan started happening with what's called the non-bun trade, and that happened in 1543 when Portuguese missionaries showed up. And this was when Portugal was like the world empire.
They had the boats.
They had the boats, and they also had the backing of the Catholic Church and the Jesuits mainly. And this is when Portugal was running shit. You know, this is how they got to Brazil, and this is South America in general. And this is how the tight the relationship between Japan and Portugal happens, and Brazil. That's why you have Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Because of that.
That axis. Yes. Interesting. So crazy how that shit works.
I mean, Brazilian jiu-jitsu really didn't happen until, you know, the modern era, but there is that line, that through line of
Sure.
Brazil to Japan.
Yeah.
And so then you start getting sugar and firearms and Catholicism coming in, and that's just like a new just variable into the mix.
Sugar, firearms, Catholicism. Yeah. That's
Guns, carbs, and steel. I don't know.
Get your kid hooked on it.
Now, you know, there earlier in Japan's history, they had access to firearms through China, but Europeans had advanced the art by then significantly.
Yeah.
And then later the Japanese would like even advance on that. But it also brought new methods of shipbuilding and warcraft. And the Portuguese would, you know, trade for silk, spices as well, for things they could only find in Japan, and they would take those back. So it opened up the East to much, or specifically Japan, to Europe. And then later, after a while, they would close off again after this period.
Interesting.
But so by the time, 1543, the Portuguese come, and by the time our main character Yasuke shows up in 1579, there weren't a lot of warring factions. Now they kind of distilled down to like 2 or 3, mainly one guy, Lord Oda Nobunaga.
Now, was this because these 2 or 3 had taken over, or
they were all seeking to be the great unifier?
Okay.
They were all trying to unify Japan under one shogunate. And they'd all kind of been consolidated into 3 guys. And Nobunaga was the guy.
So there was no one shogun. There was just 3.
There was 3 by now. But before, you know, there were over 300 daimyo at one point.
So they didn't have like any anti-monopoly laws on...
No, I don't think the game had been...
Yeah,
nope,
that's too
I don't
bad.
think Milton Bradley had made his way back to the East yet.
You never know.
Actually, there is some economic stuff later that Nobunaga would do that maybe is addressing what you're talking about, but we're usually in a military situation. And not.
It's usually not deal making as much as...
You know,
I'm going to build a hotel here.
But so the fact that the Jesuits came along with guns and resources.
The Jesuits coming with guns.
Yeah, dude.
Bro, that's so fucking funny.
No, they believe in
We're
science.
trying to live like Jesus, all right?
Well, so
Sit down.
their thing was that
If Jesus had a gun, he would have been all right.
I think the phrase was better to be in chains and achieve salvation in heaven than to be a free heathen.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing to say to people in chains. Hey, you guys are in chains, right?
Well, they didn't say it to them. That was just their. That was their. They really believed that they were saving these people's souls, and a few people had to die along the way. So be it. So they brought in guns, and they introduced guns and external goods from.
I'm saving you.
Dark side of the Jesuits, man. I didn't know about this shit.
I mean, are they people?
Yeah. Well, also, there's a thing too where governments kind of adopt. It doesn't matter what.
I mean, any daimyo is going to take. If I gotta have my people convert, and then I get firearms and shipbuilding techniques from these Christian white faces, I'm gonna do it. Anything I can do to take over.
Yeah, I love him. What was his name again? Jesus.
If I can unify Japan. Huh?
Sounds sick, man.
He's got the sus.
He is risen. Give me the guns.
There he is.
So, you may not know the name Alessandro Valignano. May not mean much now. But in the late 1500s, this name moved fleets. This name moved armies, and raised cities. His official title was the Visitor to the Indies by Pope Gregory VIII.
His official title was Visitor to the Indies.
Visitor.
No, it's a big deal back then.
And
it's just funny.
This is a Portuguese guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Portuguese Jesuit, and he was dispatched to inspect and develop the new Catholic footholds that were taking root in India, China, and the easternmost of these missions was Japan.
Damn.
I mean, this guy was like the guy. This is like number 2.
A Jesuit raising cities is just.
I mean, he mainly raised them, but
quote unquote.
by raising one, you are going to. Those people will then go raise.
Right.
R-A-Z-E.
Well,
others.
it is the land of the rising sun of God.
And the raising sun. So
He's so pissed. Let's do this.
so Valignano, he gets on his big black ship and heads to Japan.
Was it really a black ship?
It was a big black ship.
Oh,
It was a
cool.
giant ship. And
I come at night mostly.
We can't see them.
And on the ship was his bodyguard and valet,
Well, yeah, of course.
Yasuke.
Mm.
And Yasuke was like 6'2" and like 190, 200 pounds, dark black, and like 22, 23 years old at this time.
Cut.
Shredded,
Oh.
bro, lean, rich mahogany, ebony skin.
And was that from Portugal's?
No, Yasuke was most likely from Mozambique.
Mm-hmm.
We can get to some of the kind of etymology of his name, but he was abducted as a boy they thought he might have been Sudanese, but it's most likely he was from Mozambique. And he was abducted as a boy by either Indian, Persian, or Arab slavers.
Mm-hmm.
His whole village was basically lit on fire. Women were raped. The virgins were kept because they caught a higher price on the market. They took all the men of age. They killed all the men who had the scarification, the ritual scarification of like manhood and seasoned battle, and they killed those usually, and they kept kind of like the young men who were just about to become of age.
Cool.
And they packed them on a ship, and a lot of them died of starvation along the way.
Jesus.
And then he was sold to warlords, intercepted by warlords in most likely India. It's likely that he won his freedom in India through service in war or through the death of a previous master. And
Cool.
probably been Jesus.
What? I know.
What?
Well,
That part is cool. The death of our previous master. Is just
well,
like,
then, not if you're a fucking samurai. then you become a Ronin, persona non grata.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't a samurai yet, is what I'm saying.
No,
I'm just
but,
saying,
I mean,
as a slave,
here's
it's
the
like,
thing.
hey,
Here's the
that
thing.
guy's dead, you guys are all free.
Your idea of slavery is not, it's different. It's
good. It's a good thing.
No, it's not.
It's a sense of belonging.
But here's the thing. He might have been bought and then freed by as a specialist military slave from a band of mercenaries or a slave broker. It wasn't like American slavery. It's different,
right, sure.
It's for sure that he was a slave once. He was abducted by other North Africans likely as a child and brought to India to be a warrior as a young boy. Everywhere people were enslaved. But in this time in history, especially in this part of the world, everybody had a master or a patron. Everybody was beholden to somebody else in some way.
Right, a lord, etc. Yes, it's yeah.
I mean, not just for work or food, but like shelter and survival. And every, the social structure differed from place to place and time to time. But anybody who was free, what we consider free now, would probably starve quickly or die from exposure. That's why for the vast majority of human history, the worst penalty, worse than death, is ostracization. Just go, bye.
Yeah.
That's why in stories like Romeo and Juliet or Dante, but to be just kicked out is a fate worse than death.
Well, because it meant death because you weren't allied with anyone. To kill you was not an offense to a greater army to then come back and kill them. Right. So it was basically a death sentence because the world was too wild, and that's why everybody would, do this surf fucking,
it was
thing.
It
was just like to stay alive because, all right, well, this sucks, and I give him, I got to pay tribute to him, but like also like nobody's going to fuck with me because it's the mafia.
Yeah.
Right.
So to be truly free as we consider it, which none of us really are we? It was a death sentence. So everybody was a slave to something in some way. And then there were also like real straight up slave. But you could, back then you could also win your freedom. You could buy your freedom. You could get, you could be promoted to something other than a slave.
Right. So there was a little bit of a hierarchy.
It wasn't a dead end street for a lot of history, and certainly different than the American slave trade, which is just really bad.
It's capitalism and slavery combined
together. And just
well, my son gets you now. Where it's just like, what?
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't even know me.
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to be owned by someone I know.
Now the Yasuke himself did a lot better than just food and shelter. He was probably paid well because he was incredibly skilled for his age. He started out as a child soldier that fought in wars in Goa.
Good God.
And survived.
Yeah.
And he was almost certainly well-dressed and well-maintained and managed and educated, at least in different languages, because he had made it this far, and he was the number two guy to the Pope, basically.
Right.
Let's say not number two, maybe, we don't know, I can't tell you Valignano is number two to the Pope, but he is like on the level just under the Pope.
The Pope gave him a nickname, which is a positive nickname.
The Pope's got his lieutenants, and Valignano's one of them, and his number two guy is this 6'2" African 23-year-old.
Right.
So he has to have a certain air about him. He has to look the part. He has to act the part. He has to be the part. So he is not he's not a animal in their eyes.
Right.
He is a trusted confidant, and this guy trusts him with his life, right?
Yeah.
And especially on the road here in Japan, in a place where they are new and strangers and their lives are in danger. Because before this point in Japan, the other Catholic missionaries that have been there, they got murked up hard.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
And during when the Warring States period was a little more tumultuous.
Yeah.
The last group, like there were a lot of like anti-Catholic clans and stuff like that. But the fact that
I got your communion right here.
Nobunaga
the
was
body and the blood, you cocksucker motherfucker.
The Nobunaga,
chop you up. I'll chop you right up.
Nobunaga was more friendly.
You're saying that?
That's what the Japanese are saying to the Jesuits.
Karate chop them up. Great.
They say karate chop. They have swords. Ronin. What Ronin?
So, because the power had been consolidated, and the Jesuits offered, connections and
Connections.
Yes, they offered power and resources and alliance. Nobunaga was more friendly, right? Yeah, I don't think Nobunaga wasn't. I don't think he was Catholic yet himself, but a lot of his like vassals were, and some of his like subordinate clans were. Otherwise, they were like Shinto and Buddhist adjacent.
Yeah,
but he was cool with it, especially on account of the guns.
he was super tolerant.
Now, what you said about we talked the dirty Europeans. The Europeans were dirty when they got there. Like they're like, man, these fucking Japanese, they shower, they bathe all the time.
Take their shoes
what
off
the
when
hell's
they go
with
inside.
that?
Yeah,
because Europeans at this time thought like bathing made you sick.
Right.
Like they smelled like shit.
Yeah.
They ate with their hands.
Sure.
The Japanese had a much more like lenient idea towards sex as a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So they both kind of saw
the hygiene in the sex with the bukkake, with the showering of. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the bukkake.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, talking about
On
the
the
bukkake.
train?
Yeah. The bukkake.
Is that a question for Juan?
Is that?
We're good.
No.
But it was seen as by the Europeans. It was seen as a land of pirates and pagans,
and then like the showers
and disorder. They take baths all the time and they have sex with each other. It's disgusting. But the Japanese see them as just a useful means to an end, and other white folk. They saw each other as white folk basically.
I mean, you imagine like the Japanese have lived. They have generations and generations of family who have been on that island. Who the fuck is this guy gonna? What the fuck are they gonna do to us when they show up? We've been here for
right. They're gonna
years.
They're gonna teach us how to make better ships and let us use their boomsticks.
Yeah, we'll take advantage of them because,
Yes.
but they're not going to usurp us in any.
They weren't even trying. They weren't trying to. They were
even the missionaries.
Well, the missionaries. I mean, it's a more subtle form of usurpification.
you do it with the dollar. You do it
or
with trade.
you do it with God.
Right.
Because if you get the people to believe in something outside of
something that you're giving them something to imagine that, outside of their that's something they're used to,
and particularly for the younger people,
right?
That would have to get indoctrinated with it. It's going to stick with them more than the guy that's going like, yeah, Shinto today, Christ tomorrow, sure, yeah.
But that guy's at every street
whatever
corner.
it takes. Hey, you know what I mean?
$5 for a newspaper.
So Yasuke had been on the move since he was a boy, from like the plains and the swamps in Mozambique, and the mountains and deserts of North Africa, the sandy deserts of India. He fought alongside and against Hindus and Turks, Muslims, Africans, Persians, Europeans, escaped death countless times before finally being employed. I mean, he had kind of like made it at this point, against all odds, to be next to the right hand of the right hand of the right hand of God.
Yeah.
Going into a new land, right? This guy is he's a badass that you would see in a movie.
Right.
That you would normally see like in one of our Western style movies.
Of course.
Footnote, there was a live action movie planned of Yasuke. And Chadwick Boseman was supposed to play.
No, bro, that's so painful.
It wasn't called Black Samurai, was it?
Yeah.
It was.
And but then so that's on hold, but now there is an anime coming out on Netflix, and I think it's voiced by Lakeith Stanfield.
Wow.
I don't know if they've recast Yasuke yet for the live action, but I'm sure it's going to happen. It's
good. It's good.
Incredible story.
It's tailor-made for movies. The way in the book, I'll give you one of my main sources here, was African Samurai, the story of Yasuke, it's called African Samurai, The True Story of Yasuke, a legendary black warrior in feudal Japan, by Thomas Lockley and Jeffrey Gerard. This is the book. There are a bunch of other like smaller books that really weren't able to get a bulk like the sources, because there's not a lot. Yasuke didn't have a diary.
Sure.
A lot of this comes from Valignano's writings and other writings of secondary and tertiary sources throughout the years and surrounding these battles.
Yeah. That's the thing about those, kind of really badass Clint Eastwood types is they don't keep a diary.
Or it gets burned up or whatever.
I shot 3 people in the head today.
So
Somebody stepped to the daimyo. I was like,
I found the ugly.
So Valignano's strategy was to have the Jesuits convert all of Japan. I mean, he was a real believer, and he himself was a very educated man. But he was older than Yasuke and not, didn't have the benefit, quote in quotes, of being exposed to all these different cultures and having a knack for languages and cultures and the keen eye for.
He's a kind of a top-down manager.
Yeah, he's a delegator. Their strategy was to use logic to refute the Shinto gods and Buddhist ways while having them adapt their own European beliefs and customs to the existing ones, right?
yes. So that's how it is. It's a negotiation.
Yeah, there's syncretism, right? It's always a way of saying, well, actually, this guy is a really lot like Paul,
What does that taste like?
the apostle. It's not Paul, but it's like Paul. They saw that converts should be persuaded through debate and sincere religious enlightenment, at least the influential ones,
Yes.
as opposed to by the sword. The promises of gun and silk and all that were good for getting a foot in the door, but after that, the motivation had to be kind of willing. And so they went, for better or worse, really needing the Japanese to accept Christ willingly, right?
It almost kind of sounds like a mid-level marketing type of.
Yeah, isn't it?
I need you to accept it willingly. Is such a fucking like a salesperson fucked up shit.
This is good for both of us.
They weren't doing what other eras of Catholicism or
like beating it into you. Yeah, exactly.
Like, convert or die.
Right.
Yeah. I said mid.
And so, he was the Jesuits, as they are, run a tight ship. And so Valignano was to meet with Nobunaga, basically, and negotiate what the terms of this kind of alliance would be. And Yasuke was his body man, his valet, his, confidant, etc. So he had to wake up before Valignano, which is like an hour before daybreak, be ready to start his work. By the time homeboy wakes up, he already had walked through the seminary grounds twice before, prepare for prayers at mass at dawn while while everybody was getting ready. Like his day had already started by the time everybody's day had started, right? He was just like really fucking good at his job because he was almost like hyper vigilant.
Right.
Just would see things before they ever happened. He was really good at getting in the mind of an attacker.
Mm-hmm.
How would I kill Valignano right now? That's what they mean. That's just what he was doing.
Right.
And then
I wish
it was
I could.
I'd fucking with this.
How would I? Oh, glad you asked.
I've been thinking about it all life. But also Valignano knew that his bodyguard needed, time to train and study and blow off steam, so he would let him go do that. So there were times where he would give Yasuke time off, especially because at this point, like I said, this was a lot more peaceful or less threat to the Catholics than there were a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had gone a period of time without any
chop ups.
Yeah, chop ups, exactly. So, Yasuke would occasionally swim in the river with other students or go to some of the entertainment quarters or have a drink with some of the guys or even see a courtesan. Perhaps.
A what?
A courtesan? A courtesan?
See a lady.
Pleasure
Is that,
girl. A pleasure girl.
What do you call it?
A hooker. Brief dalliances with the local women, is it?
But like,
you gotta understand.
What's the Japanese version of it specifically?
Courtesan. Are you thinking geisha?
That's what I'm thinking of.
No, geishas are not hookers, dude.
But it's
John, please.
Please.
I don't even know.
Geishas are not.
What are they?
They are not hookers.
What are they? Porcelain dolls? What are you saying?
They're women. They're women, and I don't even think sex is on the menu.
But there is some kind of...
they're women who are hookers? Yes.
Huh?
Yes, there are women who are prostitutes. Yeah.
No, but
the geisha is not a prostitute.
But it's kind of a escort.
It's yes, but not. It's not even like it's not even about that.
All right, I don't know what you're getting defensive about. Apparently, you're way into geishas.
I'm a geisha. I'm a geisha. So.
I don't know what it is.
But also,
either.
like, the Jesuits were like mad scandalized about
Scandalized.
Yeah. Like the willingness of.
I must be out of my fucking mind right now.
Both sexes
Christ
were
screaming on the cross. All these women out here.
I'm sorry.
I don't even know what a geisha is.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jesus.
They know not what they do, man. You know how
Stop
it is.
screaming.
So they, the Japanese are said like way more free with their sex.
Nice.
You got a real freewheeling attitude, man.
Man, imagine like you pull up and you're a Jesuit and you got like a cabin next to him and you're like, man, that sounds great.
Imagine Bill Bronson wrote his book, Sex Around the World then. Japanese have a real stick up their... Or I mean, the Portuguese have a real stick up their ass.
Okay, yeah.
Do.
And a geisha isn't a hooker.
And for the right price, a geisha will put one up yours. Problems with the mission were that the Japanese saw the Europeans as just like not very civilized. Yeah, so they come with the big boats and they got the robes.
They smell like shit.
And the guns, but they smell like shit. They don't fuck.
Yeah.
They just saw them as less civilized.
What's with all that hair? Big hairy balls. Nasty. Wash them, motherfucker.
So...
All right?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would, they spent a few months there together.
It wasn't dirt, it was just hair.
Dirty hair. Back to the cowboy thing.
I don't
hair.
talk, and I don't keep a diary.
So they, Valignano met with Arima, who was like the fucking child leader, he was like a young fucking
yikes.
So I think Arima was like the child fucking ruler who was Nobunaga's boss or something. I don't know I forget but he met with him and made some alliances. But like 9 months go by, there's no violence, everything's going pretty swimmingly.
Nice.
And the ship's got to go back. They bounce between like the Kyoto and a couple other cities, just kind of doing, bureaucratic shit, negotiating and stuff.
Stamp this.
Yeah. Developing defense strategies, teaching other warriors like the ways that he knew as a badass. Then the ship goes back and it's taking like all sorts of shit, including people, sold as human goods.
Yeah, there's
child slaves.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Japanese had slaves too. They were selling slaves right back to Europeans. So Japanese slaves were making it all the way to the Americas and to Mexico. They'd be in Europe and stuff. A lot of concubines and a lot of child slaves were sold to the Europeans.
Jesus.
Really fucked up.
Yikes.
And here's the thing. The Jesuits, their thing was like, well, at least they're going to be Christians.
Yeah.
At least their souls will be saved.
Right,
Holy
right.
shit. They may be slave, but their souls are saved.
I was trying to think of like Dan Carlin, like, you got to imagine.
You got to imagine these people thought that if these heathens were not saved by their Lord and Savior's sacrifice on the cross, that they would be in bondage for all of eternity. In fire and brimstone in the boiling pit.
I mean, thank God the kid's in chains at the bottom of the boat. Otherwise,
Thank God he's getting reamed out by the Scotch-Irish guy over there in
You
Virginia.
got to imagine this kid. Yeah.
No, I'm imagining it right now. So it was worth their deliverance from paganism was worth their life of slavery to them.
Right.
Right. It's a tough trade-off to make for someone else's life, but you got to do it sometimes.
Oh. So
The whole times I spoke over Jesuits on this program, being like, they're really like into the vow of poverty.
The Jesuits. The Jesuits.
I didn't know they were such a dominant power in Imperial Portugal.
Me neither.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Because I always was told that basically they were like a fringe group on the precipice of being kicked out of the Roman Catholic Church.
It seems like things changed in the
That
last
was
like
probably in
100
the
years
beginning
or something. Yeah.
That was probably this is now this is late 1500s.
Right.
So they probably were less fringe. They
But even later with Pope Francis, like now, like the Jesuits are not a group drawn
families
from.
are always rising and falling in the Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? dog?
You know, back then you're just trying to join the cool kids table.
They did have like the best education system. They were they tolerated.
They went hard on the monk side.
Yeah, they weren't going around chopping up people.
Yeah.
They were winning people over by showing them that Christianity was better than what they had.
Right, and giving them guns to kill people.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
and taking the slaves.
So, which is also religion or death, because if you don't have the guns, you can't win.
Yeah.
But
Hey, we came to you first.
Yeah.
Could have came to the other. So they they built missionaries. Instead of tearing down Buddhist and Shinto temples, they just converted them. So like that's, listen,
Just
man, I'm
gotta
not
change a
fucking
few things.
apologizing, but I am saying like Vanyana went there with like the quote unquote purest of intentions. Like everyone else was, even the Japanese were tearing down other people's temples.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
if one
Burning
temple
them,
did get
yeah.
torn down, he used the bricks to rebuild it as a Christian seminary.
Right, there's a difference between burning it down and there's
then
some
shitting
sort of
on it.
agreement that we should rebuild
Right.
it in a different image.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's just a thing too about, like that shit I was saying in the Bathory episode about like the opposing faction from the Turks taking their saints' remains,
Yeah.
burning into, it's like it's supposed to sap the will. It's supposed to destroy the soul of the community. It's supposed to be like, you'll never fucking come back from this because even the one thing that is your champion that's not even alive, I'm going to take that from you.
Right, when you do that,
And
it's
if I
not
get-
like you're replacing it with anything. You're just destroying.
You're replacing it with you.
Well,
You're saying,
but you just you destroy remains, and it's not like they have another place to go to. Maybe the remains were some sort of pilgrimage.
statues,
type of thing.
anything, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, somewhat, relatively progressive for imperial religion, right? And really, they didn't have any true military force. They just had access to goods and service and technology. That's why, winning over the population was so important, because it was just him and Yasuke.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He didn't have like a team with him? Or
Yeah, but I mean, there's also a fucking bunch of Japanese people around who don't give a shit.
In Japan?
You're telling me? What's up with all these foreigners? Yeah, they're.
It is still a rather insular
And also,
nation.
here's the thing.
And there's
this
still,
is a 6'2" black guy.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
Dude. What?
Yeah.
So they're still they're not in the capital yet. They're they're in this port town. They're bouncing between these two port towns, making inroads. And then they, after kind of making inroads with this Arima guy. Arima was, like I told you, the youthful kind of leader of this area.
And yeah, you said he was even above the other guy?
Oh, well, he had a castle.
Okay.
Castle's cool.
Yeah.
And he's like a child.
But he's also, he's out. But he's an outskirt guy.
I have slaves.
Nobunaga is one of the three big names, the great unifier.
And you were saying, yeah, Arima is above him.
I think locally.
Okay, got it.
Right? But, so, politically, Arima is higher, I think higher on the, I might be fucking that up, but Arima was, politically higher, but he wasn't the warlord, Like I said, who's really calling the shots?
Sure.
Is the Queen of England the Queen of England? I mean,
These days, who says?
hey. So after they make those inroads, then they go to see Nobunaga, Oda Nobunaga, who's like one of the three big warlords, great unifiers at that time. And they needed his interest and his protection in order to keep the mission going, which is I guess they called the Kyoto mission, because Kyoto was the capital of the. So he had recently suffered a pretty embarrassing defeat in the years prior.
Don't look at me.
Well, not him, but one of his second kid did.
What? That's
It's a shame.
His
Like the cops with their flashlights on me. I'm gonna shoot first, dude.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot.
Let me finish.
His son suffered a defeat in the province of Iga.
Asshole.
That sucks.
So his father told him not to do it, but his kid did it anyways. The fucking Nobunaga's troops got all fucked up by the wily peasants.
The wily
His
peasant.
son runs back with the tails. Because here's the thing, Iga is known for the peasants, the wily peasants, also known as shinobi, also known as ninja.
Oh.
No.
Bunaga.
And we're back.
So, fucking ninjas.
Ninjas jumping out of trees.
Shinobi. Obi-Wan Shinobi. Right?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Right.
Okay.
So, the
And now,
Jesuit...
I
the
understand the ninjas, they would be sneaky and silent.
Yes, but also deadly. So
Now that's
the
hot.
Jesuits are depending on Nobunaga's support to keep their mission of saving the heathen Japanese from eternal damnation.
Yeah.
And Nobunaga had just had somewhat of an embarrassing defeat because of his son's insubordination by attacking the Iga area, and the ninja fucked him up, and he came back tail between his legs.
But I mean, according to like every movie or Disney movie I've seen, it like that's just gonna make him stronger, and he made a mistake, and everything's gonna be fine.
Right. Now, the Jesuits had heard rumors about the ninja from locals and Japanese warriors, but this letter from Nobunaga was kind of like this official correspondence was the first time like it was official recognizing.
Wait, so like it's like it? I don't know. First, when I was thinking about ninja, it never occurred to me that it started as like 5 guys in a place, right?
It was a true peasant. It was kind of like what the Igi I mentioned in the beginning, like just peasant uprising.
Yeah.
Right.
The reason was that a lot of the peasants were not allowed to have traditional weapons, so they used basic farming implements.
Oh, okay. You have to be pretty sneaky when you're using farming.
Yeah.
Well, just if you are a peasant army at all and you're doing guerrilla warfare, you have to be extremely sneaky.
Yeah, and then they more. I mean,
against you.
they'd been around. They had been around before this, but and they had then turned into something entirely
They
different.
turned into regular people.
They turned into Ninja Turtles.
They were kind of like killer mimes
Yeah,
with the silence.
yeah. They were known to be the deadliest of assassins. Some even said they weren't even men at all, or that they could change into beasts or ghouls during
wraiths.
battle. Some called them ghosts. Other claims that they could make themselves invisible and even walk on water like the Lord Jesus Christ.
What? But they didn't know about that guy.
No, but that's what the Jesuits.
Right. Oh, right.
I mean, they would know about Jesus come hell or high water.
Especially high
Man,
water.
can you imagine if Jesus started murdering?
Can you imagine
Oh,
if
boy.
Jesus was Japanese?
Oh,
Jesus
boy.
Christ.
What if he was making people blind instead of alleviating the symptoms? That'd be fucked up. Wow. You sure?
Imagine if Jesus was a ninja. Boy, Pilate would have had a hell of a time.
Real twist on this guy.
I really like these mushrooms. Where'd you get them from? You ever think about a horse riding a guy?
You ever think that shiitake looks like shit take? Man, these are good. They specialized in stealth and mountain forest fighting, and they could sweep out of the trees like bats and drop from treetops like spiders and burst from the underground like boar.
Wow.
And they could turn anything into a weapon. And the females especially would be really good with chopsticks and hairpins.
No.
Because the ninja were fucking mad, pretty liberal gender-wise. You know?
they were pretty
cool gender.
They're pretty cool that way.
Yeah. They could see through walls and strike their opponents through doors. And most people didn't know they were dead until they were found.
Whoa, that's got to be a wake-up call for you.
Do you even know? Do you even know? So anyways.
I didn't know I was dead until this dude walked over me and was like, holy shit, a dead body.
So
Wait a minute. Oh.
there was a story that just the year before there was Usugi Kenshin. He was a great lord in the north. I was told that he was killed by a ninja while he was sitting in his latrine.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
The assassin had laid waiting in the stinking pit below all night for his chance, and the killing stroke went straight up his sphincter and into the Lord's stomach.
Oh my God.
The Lord's stomach.
The Lord, not the Lord.
I know.
The Lord Kenshin.
The daimyo.
That daimyo.
The bowel, aka the Lord's stuff.
He was like that guy in the septic tank, except with a sword.
Yeah.
Dude.
Splosh.
Yeah,
where he
and
learned
his
it
associate was outside. So they say Kenshin did not die immediately, but it took 4 days for him to die in extreme agony. The ninja had probably drowned in the cesspit after poisoning himself.
And I was a happy man.
And with my last move,
I don't need your judgment. And that's what they did rather than get captured, because he didn't have an easy escape. He just poisoned himself and then probably drowned in the shit and the piss and the refuse.
it's tough to climb out of there, I guess. Yeah.
Allegedly, they only killed for money at this point, and they had no honor.
That sounds like a smear.
Yeah, I think this is the smear. They had no honor beyond what they were getting paid. But there may have been some that were just strictly mercenaries. But I think the original origin of ninjas that they started out as such, and then it later became something else. They gave little value to their own lives or even their families, but more toward whatever the cause was that they were fighting for.
Which also sounds
they served for the
very
greater
samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
But they didn't have like the Bushido honor of the way of the fight. You know,
they were deliberately
guerrilla warfare.
undermining that, but also the ethics otherwise kind of stayed the same.
And they served the greater good of their clans, and they used the money to survive in what were inhospitable lands. Because the good shit was under the control of the daimyos.
They're like a black market samurai. Kind of. You're like, I just need one.
Selling their services was the only way their community could survive. And it's ironic that this Usugi Kenshin, the hit that was paid on his life was paid by Nobunaga. So he knew firsthand how tricky the ninjas were, because he paid to get Kenshin killed.
Wow.
And the stories, the Jesuits thought they were absurd, but after hearing about this from Nobunaga, they're like, what if they were true,
Right.
There was another story. Oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it later. But Nobunaga had been assassinated by at least twice before by ninja. We'll get to it.
He just didn't take a shit for a while.
Yeah. So, like I said,
His ghoulies coming out of his toilet.
chuds.
All these chuds climbing up. Is he here yet?
They'll get you in the end.
So
Very nice.
It's
they're meeting with
the tagline of the movie.
They meet with Nobunaga. Nobunaga has Yasuke train his guys and also do his own training. So they were doing, they were sparring with a variety of weapons, learning from each other, because Yasuke's bringing stuff from all over the fucking world.
Right.
This Japanese, the samurai guards were, expert hand-to-hand combatants in their particular weapons. And Yasuke had all these different like wrestling forms and all that stuff from all over. Yasuke was just so much stronger than everybody and big.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like a foot taller than like the tallest dudes there.
Right.
So he just, it was the stark difference was notable. When Nobunaga finally brought him to the capital, it was like Jesus Christ showed up, because there was when they saw this giant, beautiful black man show up. It wasn't like, oh, he's black and he's, less than. There was, in Japanese, their version of the Indian god Shiva was Daikokuten. And he was a black skin god deity of wealth and prosperity, usually with ebony black skin. And there were also versions of,
also he's dressed like a high lord and stuff. So it's
and he's gigantic.
Right. They
had to put him on a horse to go through town because people were trampling over each other. People were crushed to death in the mob. They were ripping away his clothes. So they had to throw him on a horse and just trample over people because they would have ripped him apart just to get a piece of him. It caused a fucking riot.
Wow.
They were like buildings were collapsing because they're all made out of like paper and shit, you know? Well, the reason they're made
Marie Kondo.
well, yeah, you know, like
I live in a Marie Kondo.
Okay, that's right. You know, it's what you take out of it.
you know, he was a soldier for half his life. He was a foot taller than everybody. He had been eating meat and dairy his entire life, where everybody here is eating fish and rice. If they're lucky, they're getting meat. So he just had this, you know, he was of a different race entirely and brought up entirely different than these people. So it was just, and he looked exactly the opposite.
Right.
And they had this mythology that was conducive to worshiping him. So he was revered by, I mean, it was an alien coming down from the sky, basically.
Yeah.
And it was thousands of people. People were laughing, crying, like ripping out their hair.
Yeah.
Like Beatlemania. It was Yasuke mania
Right.
in just the day he came to the capital.
Yeah, I mean, like my dad in the 50s was telling me, you know, north side of Dublin, in the Swords, which is, you know, just kind of a little outside Dublin suburbs. His mother had a store, and because it's Dublin, if you're going to see foreigners, it might be there. And he's like, I saw 2 African guys for the first time in my life as a child in Ireland. And like, he's like, it was just like mouth agape, staring up.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. And he's like, and feeling my mom like nudging me in the shoulder to be like, stop staring.
I'm
and
gonna
stop,
leave your father
stop
for this
doing
guy.
that. And then just, he's like, and then just the 2 African dudes that are massively tall, just like looking down at me and then just smiling because like they know I'm freaking out like about seeing a black person for the first time. I mean, that's the 50s in Ireland. In this era in Japan, I can't fucking imagine.
There's a guy I worked with in Japan. He went to Japan like 2004, and he
like, are you Shaq?
he was just
They say that shit.
he was just a tall white guy, and his goal was to ride a motorcycle around Japan. And when he got there, of course, a white guy, they interviewed him right at the airport because they want to put him on all of these like shows, right?
His motorcycle flooded from all the pussy juice.
What they gave him, they made a documentary about him.
Yeah.
Because they're like, and they gave him a free fucking motorcycle.
You're an alien. So anyways, we're going to Japan. We're taking the show on the road.
Seriously? Just because he was a tall white guy?
Yeah.
They gave him a motorcycle.
Yeah, and that's what because he wanted to do that, and so they gave him a motorcycle, and they filmed a documentary about him driving around the country.
And it was probably a big old Harley, right?
Yeah, he was a Japanese Harley Davidson.
I don't want one of those rice burners.
Oh God.
I don't know.
So oh God.
Oh, that?
Yeah, that gets him. Oh
the
yeah,
one.
Aaron's so fucking easily offended.
No, I'm not.
Oh my
I'm not,
God.
I'm
The
not.
motorcycle.
So
Jesus.
you know they're making inroads there. They baptized the Arima kid. He's a lord, the teen lord. They baptized him finally.
Teen lord.
Yeah.
Teen Lord.
I was a teenage lord.
I'm gonna make a lot of changes
So
around
he
here.
gets baptized. They move to Nagasaki.
Nice.
They meet you know, Nobunaga. They take him to the capital. He's fucking mobbed. And Nobunaga is fucking mad into Yasuke.
Nice.
You know, definitely with respect, but also kind of this weird fetishization of him. Of course.
Not in Japan.
No. So, you know, to a degree, Valignano's mission is kind of, I gotta go move on now. Yasuke is somewhat of a gift that he leaves. You know, I'm going back to Europe right now. I don't need him. His services are better left with you here. And it's also this show of goodwill and all that.
Also,
It's
maybe
also-
a little bit of muscle, a little bit of force,
Yes. And also,
influence.
it's also a step up for Yasuke.
Yes.
Yasuke is now,
Does he doesn't feel rudderless without his boss there or anything? He's just
no,
like
he learned the language better than Valignano did.
the mission continues.
The
kind
mission
of thing.
continues, and it's kind of this, you know, very cinematic progression, but also like this is weird. When I read the book, I got this video game vibe. I was like playing the game
You
Black
leveled up.
Samurai, and like I went from child slave to child warrior to, you know, mercenary to valet bodyguard for the Pope's guy,
Right.
to then now I'm almost like I'm a I'm a Lord's guy.
Right. And he used to fight with the Turks and all that.
Yeah.
He's like,
everything you've learned along the way.
I helped the Turks take Transylvania before I killed them.
I left this one guy behind. Vlad.
I know. Dragula.
I think he was in the back. I think it was digging through the ditches, burning through the witch. I don't know. Anyways, I'm sure it won't be a lot. I'm sure it won't be a problem. Nobunaga Valignano gives Nobunaga a velvet-covered, golden chair, which was like a throne from Rome, crystal glasses from Europe,
crystal
castles, and then he gives, he basically says, Yasuke is going to stay here with you if you'll have him, he's like, I don't, where I'm going, I don't need a bodyguard anymore, and this guy's the shit. And so,
or Rhodes,
thank you.
It would produce, Valignano was brilliant, and he saw the reception that Yasuke got.
Yeah,
and to give him to Nobunaga there is like building long-term favor for the Jesuit order there.
I mean, if anything is promoting and his also, goal is
goodwill, and also like you said, a source of intelligence if the need should ever arise. Nobunaga agreed, loved it. He would immediately join Nobunaga's clan. He was part of Nobunaga's clan as a weapon bearer and also a novelty. And he never thought he would be anything more than that. In a month, he would have servants of his own, property, wealth, and a month after that, he would be a samurai.
Good God.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So his name is probably actually Sufo, which is a name popular in Mozambique at the time, common. Mm-hmm. And then it could have been kind of perverted to Yasufe as a dialectical change. And then once he got to Japan, it would have been Yasuke.
Right.
Just kind of getting to that.
Yeah, I was wondering because
Yasufe would be hard to pronounce in Japanese.
I was like, how does this work? Yeah.
So it kind of just becomes Yasuke.
Right.
Like Battle Royale is Batoru Royale.
Yeah, the Tesla is Tsura.
Yes, exactly. Besubor.
Right.
And this is how it is. This is not us being fucking assholes about it.
Well, you're not making...
Nikorai Tesura.
Yeah.
So, oh boy. He had joined the ranks of like the most powerful warlord in Japan, right? First is kind of this novelty. But then also, he was really hot.
Oh, that's nice. Attractive.
Yeah,
ripped.
yeah.
Tall.
He met all the other like clan members,
mm-hmm.
and they were all young, powerful, hot guys.
Mm-hmm.
He learned that these other samurai were also Nobunaga fucked them.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah. Nobunaga,
the samurai?
Yeah. And it was actually quite common.
Considered an honor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Tuesday.
All these samurai were engaging in sexual relations with Nobunaga.
Cool.
And other older samurai also. So he was a part of like the young samurai crew, the new batch. But they were all having sex with the older samurai. The samurai had adopted, probably from the practices in Buddhist monasteries, same-sex pederasty, which is also known as nanshoku or shudo, the way. Do, shu, adolescent boys, the way of adolescent boys.
But not with women, just with men.
Yes, because this is not anything new to history, as in the Band of Thebes.
Less evidence.
It was a way to promote to the death loyalty among warriors.
Yeah.
Samurai boys in training were commonly apprenticed to an older warrior who would take them under their wing and blanket to teach them the samurai code of etiquette and the warrior skills, and take the boy as a lover until the boy had reached mature age, probably got hairy. And then he would then take on his own young boy when he...
empty clips into.
That's right. Well, the clips didn't exist at the time.
Yeah.
Quivers. I think they would empty his quiver into. Also, the boy would then quiver.
Right. You would have to sound a nut into
No.
I don't...
No.
Okay.
The boys' families would get their blessing. It did not have...
Blessing?
Didn't have the taboo that it does here, in the same way it didn't in ancient Greece. It was
taboo.
It was
the one,
like the
two.
It's just
like Paul. And it's appalling.
It's just like appalling.
Well,
The adult male was the active, penetrative partner. The young.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, who would have
Oh,
guessed?
it wasn't the little fucking Arima. Hey there, fucker. Bend over.
I'll ream him.
I'm the chief around the.
We're equal parts here. No, I don't want to derail it into talking about that, but
Yes, you do.
Talk
you know,
about it.
you mentioning it makes me think like, wasn't it just like a guy who was like, yeah, I kind of want to fuck these kids. He was like, yeah, it promotes, and because there is definitely elements of promoting. You fight harder and you fight longer and blah blah. But also, there's definitely way too many elements of I'm in power and I want to use that power.
I mean, listen, people are really good at finding excuses to fuck things,
Right.
especially little boys, because they said it themselves is that, well, there was no,
The boys said it themselves?
no, the men said it.
Here's the thing, fellas. We're real hot.
There was no,
You can't resist
there
this.
was no discredit or dishonor because
Right.
the boy didn't have virginity to lose.
Right.
How?
Virginity was a strictly female concept.
Holy shit.
What does it matter? What for a boy? It has nothing that you don't.
There's no baby.
Do whatever you want back there, pal. I take shits out of there.
Everything goes out. Let me tell you.
I've been on a steady diet of rice and nothing else. You're gonna have a good old time.
If you want to have that and that helps me climb the social ladder, please have at it.
I haven't been regular in years.
I don't even like wiping back there. Disgusting.
You can go for it. Bon appetit. You know, a lot of the obsession
That
over
was the time of my life.
No, he's
I know.
Everybody's putting their head in their head.
the obsession over female virginity is really about paternal certainty and passing along your shit.
Yes, right.
That's a big part of it. And then it's obviously control, but then control, that's what the control is about. So when boys have no danger of getting pregnant, it's not, I mean, it's just sex for the secondary purpose, which is bonding. And the human, I think we talked about it on Patreon, but like out of every mammal, human beings have the most sex with the fewest amount of pregnancies. Next to things like chimps and bonobos, compared to everything else, like a dog fucks another dog, the dog's getting pregnant, you know? And what it shows is, in many respected scientists' eyes, is that yes, sex was invented to procreate. But for human beings, the secondary purpose and the very important purpose is to promote bonding. And so in a situation here where it is not, you know, truly coercive. I mean, sure, culture is coercive, but the end result is bonding. And these people are bonded together for life.
Right.
And they do remember it. And so when you remove the cultural taboo, it's less of a pure rape act. And there is the benefit of being, you know, like this Band of Thebes thing. And so anyways, the idea is that with how quickly Yasuke was taken in under his wing, and possibly the threat of being kicked out if he said no, was that he was having sex with Nobunaga.
In a catching.
Dude, honestly, I don't know. Probably pitching it. I mean, he's a big, hot black guy, fresh off the boat.
But if it's still in the...
Hey, why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
But so you don't know.
No, I don't think there's any fucking paintings of it.
There should be.
But it's
Someone
your
out there-
profile. I don't fucking know.
Nobody knows.
Well, how big were the clips?
Let's go to the clip. John, I think you brought a clip. So
Open up, sweetheart.
it's possible and likely that, especially with the fetishization that Nobunaga had of this super hot black guy that clearly everybody was obsessed with, there's definitely a power thing there. He's a hot young black guy. It's new. I mean, like, why wouldn't you?
Catch.
Or pit. I mean, why wouldn't he want
Have a
to?
great
And
time.
why wouldn't?
Are you talking about switching on me?
Why wouldn't Nobunaga want to? And why wouldn't Yasuke let it happen?
I mean,
And also,
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you know, you're straight. You're straight. No, I think the answer is we're good.
We're good. We're good.
So
You're asking these questions, bro.
we're good.
That's what you should say to me.
you're asking all these questions.
I think the main thing I have to be like to assimilate into this is everything you're saying about his worldliness. To be able to just dive into that.
Listen, man, to become a fucking samurai, sure, I'll take a shot in the mouth.
But also, it sounds like throughout all of it, he was just kind of like the most loyal lieutenant. So I guess.
And do you know the shit that he had seen in his life?
Yeah,
sure.
The grotesque, debaucherous transgressions against all of human nature. Fucking is like, is it sex? Sure. It's not getting beheaded.
Yeah,
right.
It's not beheading.
Yeah.
It's giving head. It's getting head.
It's not mail fraud.
You have to imagine.
It's not jaywalking.
No.
Right.
Now you got to imagine.
You gotta imagine. You're born a slave. All you've seen is just a terrible stuff. Child soldier. And now all of a sudden you're in Japan. You're fucking some dude and he's more powerful than you, but it makes you better. And now you have a house.
if this is the only way I'm going to get stabbed, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So
I used to empty my clips into people. Now I empty them into buttholes.
So
Which is also people. Which is fine these days.
So Nobunaga bestows him with a short sword with the Oda crest.
Oh, you're talking about when he was fucking him?
It's not that
Here
short.
comes the short sword.
I've got to.
Open up. Gonna make me unsheath it. And so he gets the most powerful man in the land, gives him the sword, makes him a samurai, gives him land, home, money, salary. Like
Lease and key.
gives him a lease and a key.
Wow.
He's the man of the house.
Oh my god.
Hi.
Yeah. This is what he's never had that his entire life.
Man of the pagoda.
And now he has one place that is his, like,
He has a home.
yeah.
And he has a station.
Yeah.
And he had been given various weapons in battle, been given tools of war, and
Given or stole off the bodies
Both.
of... Okay.
but this had, there was nothing that was life changing or with this much esteem. He was always a mercenary or warrior, but now he was.
Ronin.
No, he has a master.
Well, now, yes.
He was never a.
Before he was more
sure,
Ronin.
Sure.
Around the world.
Yes.
He was a Roman Ronin.
He it was only after, a couple of days of really thinking about it and the way he was treated by the other samurai of Nobunaga that he really understood it.
That he had prestige?
And how important that bestowing of the short sword with the crest was. Like, Nobunaga's own sons wept when they got theirs.
Jesus.
When their own
said it,
father
though.
gave them something that was pretty much gonna happen anyways, they wept.
Because it hurt so bad.
Yeah, because he was raping. He wasn't having sex with his sons, though.
You said he gave him the short sword.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobunaga was fucking giant, bro.
Oh my.
He was the first African man to become a samurai, the only non-Japanese man who had ever served under Nobunaga.
That's incredible.
He only served for a samurai for about a year, but it had a tremendous impact on even just the mythology.
Changed the game.
So they're having sex with each other.
Got the short end of the sword here, pal.
Yada yada.
So after this, after this kind of this ceremony and relative, kind of settling in period, Nobunaga's like, yeah, I'm gonna throw one of these fucking parties again. And so he throws these famous parties, as does every ruler everywhere. But
Isn't that nice?
yeah, I mean,
I'd love to party.
giant parties where, they would import courtesans from all over.
And what does a courtesan do again?
A courtesan is a very high class prostitute. They would have, archery contests and horse shows and contests where the winners, just the normal peasant, the normal working class of the state would receive.
The great unwashed.
That's right. Well, they were actually pretty washed.
Actually, quite washed.
They would receive, I forget the name of it, but something that was the amount of rice that could feed 100 people for a year.
Pretty helpful,
Which is nice.
It's quite nice.
And
Sustenance is
they even
great.
had this public, the sumo tournament. And now sumo goes back to prehistoric Japan, where it was seen as this kind of spiritual contest between man and deity. And it was this, it was this kind of dance, right? And so they had this sumo contest, and it wasn't just big giant sumo guys doing this. This was just man against man, traditional wrestling. And they paired Yasuke up with a normal other dude. And he's like 2 feet taller than him. He's a foot taller.
Bad idea.
And weighing out, weighs big. He's just a giant black man to a small, skinny, non-black man. It's just the visual is stunning.
It's a party.
And then the idea of the fact that he might be a god because of the mythological connotation to him. So that fit in with the idea of the ancient roots of sumo. And everyone knew that this was not a real contest. It was fun. So they're laughing, they're whooping it up.
Yeah, they're high,
they're going fucking
drunk.
nuts. They're all drinking, they're all drunk. They're all fat off of food. This is bread and circuses Japanese style.
Yeah.
And so like he's doing stuff like putting his hand on the guy's head and the guy's doing this,
No.
They're loving it. And then like he'll also like let the guy get him in a headlock and then he'll just throw him out of the circle.
Oh God.
And so they
He'll pick him up and jack him off and get it on the fans.
Yeah, that's where Bukkake started. It was Yasuke Bukkake.
That's right.
And so then they would bring another guy in and they do this and he'd hold them 2. And they had to put 4 guys against Yasuke.
Oh God.
To pin him.
Wow.
Or to defeat him.
Maybe they tickle at him.
It was pretty wild stuff.
That sounds fun.
Crazy orgies, all that whole night.
Oh, nice.
That sounds fun.
So now like the year's like 1581. Yasuke's been there for like 6-7 months. And
Everybody's into coke. 1580s.
Stock market's booming.
Greed is good.
And Nobunaga's got
every
Nobunaga's
century.
80s. Oh, it's just chop full of coke.
So Nobunaga's got his main guys, right? One of them is this guy Hideyoshi, and Hideyoshi started out as Nobunaga's sandal warmer.
Oh,
Actually, sandal bearer. And he was a guy, Hideyoshi, I know I'm going to go a little off topic here, but Hideyoshi started out as an orphan. And like the worst kind of orphan. Just think about that.
okay.
I mean, he wishes he grew up could die in a latrine kind of guy.
Oh my God.
And he worked his way up and became Nobunaga's sandal bearer. And just his fucking brilliant mind of figuring things out, he made the little thing of, I'm going to take his sandals and I put them under my robe. And by the time he was ready for them, they're warm.
Yeah.
Good move.
And he took note of that.
Everybody out there remember that.
Plus I come on him.
Plus I
farted on him.
Well,
these are really cool. These are warm. So that little thing
Smells like feet.
got his favor, and then he slowly made his way through his rank, became a samurai, and became like one of Nobunaga's like number one guys. And he was just this tactical and engineering kind of genius. And he was out doing his thing, conquering, consolidating Nobunaga's mini little empire, trying to unify Japan. And he had this, he had been out, and there was one, and he had come back, and he was telling Nobunaga what's going on, and he had one last area that he was trying to conquer, and that was called Tottori Castle. And the castle was perched up on this like unassailable 1,000-foot high mountain. Like even the widest paths to the top were basically vertical, so you couldn't get like siege engines up there. Maybe you could get horses, but unlikely.
Vertical?
Almost vertical. I mean, almost.
You saying the horses will go vertical?
No. What I'm saying is the path, the wide paths up there, the most accessible paths were almost vertical. So you couldn't get any like siege weapons. You couldn't get trebuchets. You couldn't get anything other than maybe just people.
All the trebuchets are just hidden below the castle.
Men could only like scramble up in pairs. The majority of the town's population.
It's me and this guy. Oh shit! Arrows.
Yeah,
sucks.
They knew that shit. They knew that Nobunaga and Hideyoshi were coming, to kind of consolidate this last part. So, being how difficult it was, and the fact that the population knew that this siege was coming, they all just like taken shelter in the mountain castle from the outskirts of the town. They all moved in and took.
Right.
And so what he did was, which was genius to him at the time, genius for them at the time, he flattened all the outlying forts and ordered the military to build a moat and palisades of mud and bamboo thrown up around the entire mountain. So he basically entrapped them within their own fortress and shut them off from any supplies or reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
So now everybody's holed up in the castle, safe, but also they're holed up in the castle.
Yeah.
And he, around the palisades, he put watchtowers so nobody could come in or out. And, but also nobody could come to his rescue as well. So it was a gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Food was going to become scarce for everybody,
Right.
but mainly for the people up there. And Hideyoshi comes back and he tells the story of what happened. He's like, it took 200 days, but we finally did it.
Damn.
The people in the castle lasted for 200 days. People, this is really fucked up. People were like, they would leave the castle and like beg to be like, you know, killed or like people like ribs sticking out, eyes bulging. If Hideyoshi's men shot anybody with an arrow, they would get eaten by the people in the castle. They were that hungry. They were eating like the still warm body.
Christ.
So people would go out to get murdered.
People
In order to be food for the people inside.
Yeah, or I mean, to put out their own misery and knowing that they were going to get eaten.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah,
Sound like a good time. And these people in the castle, you have to imagine what happens when they get conquered. Do they just like, all right, you win this one?
so
Do they get to keep the castle? Like, how does that work? You're like, well, you played a good round on this one.
no, the commander comes out and he offers his own life to spare everybody else's.
The commander inside
The commander inside the castle comes, and this was not uncommon for the time, that the commander would come out and offer to commit seppuku, ritualistic, honorable suicide, to spare the lives of their subordinates. And Hideyoshi, acting as Nobunaga's second in command, accepted it, and the dude, his name was Kikawa, cut his very empty belly open.
Yeah.
And
You just heard whoosh.
As you can see, I'm not carrying.
I'm not holding nothing.
And then a whole chicken falls out.
So he dies, and
Big fart falls out.
dude, you smell like shit. Hideyoshi, rewarding this act, commands his army to feed everybody. More than half of them die on the spot from overeating.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
Because they hadn't, you can very easily overeat and burst your stomach,
Sure.
and just keep going because of not having fed.
Well, the food's out now. I better fill it back
I
up.
should have fed up. I should have appetized on my friend over here.
Portion control, am I right?
Even Kobayashi knows that. Stretches out his stomach.
No snacking.
So, and this is all Yasuke is watching him tell this story. And he was like, man, I'm no stranger to hunger myself, because I was on that ship. But a lot of this, he can empathize with both sides,
Right.
Yeah, he used to fight on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Turks,
And
I know him.
And he swings both
Fought
ways.
with him and killed him.
Turks, Caicos. I don't know.
I don't know what's going on over there.
So, now that Nobunaga decides that, all right, I got to Tori Castle, and basically most of my realm is under control. Now I'm going to go back to, Nobunaga says we're going back to Iga. The land
Ninja
The
territory?
land of the ninja, right?
Ooh.
So now Yasuke's like, all right, I guess I got to fucking go back to war now, because he hasn't really gone to war in a minute.
The
And
Warriors.
it's a new war.
Warriors
That's
music
right.
starts playing.
So, a few days after the Tottori report in November, Yasuke Nobunaga and his group of samurai, they head down to Iga. And if they were hoping for battle, man, they were shit out of luck, because they got there too late, it looks like.
What?
It looks like.
What?
The enemy was dead. Nobukatsu, one of the other fucking lead samurai guys, which was the one who had lost to the ninja before.
Oh, the one with his son fucked it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like he had beat them in defeat, because they get there and the fucking buildings are burnt down. The crops are raised, dead bodies all over the place. Things are torched, and they're walking around we missed the battle. Looks like he already fucking handled it.
Shit.
And then
And so, I mean, he's looking at the dead bodies of the ninjas. Some are like beheaded, and he's like, are these the superhuman, supernatural
The wraiths?
The wraiths I was,
hold on a second. I know this shithead.
It's over. His head's over here. The shit's over here.
know
But
the shit, I know that.
he was definitely human.
You dumb Ronin fuck.
And so,
Now you're dead. Look at you.
there's gunpowder, and then explosion.
No.
Boom, boom. Like the makeshift like bivouacs that they set up, that had been set up, blew up.
Fell right into my trap.
And then the dead begin rising.
No. But he put the shit back in. He puts the head on.
Dead ninjas.
Why?
By the way, ears ringing, explosion,
Yeah.
smoke in
And
your
the-
eyes,
and the dead are rising.
smell of sulfur.
Putting their heads back on?
No, I mean, they
surprise, surprise.
Ooh.
Ninja get up.
Thriller dance.
Ninja get up.
Yeah, fucking thrill. I'm not like other boys.
I'm different.
And so,
Little
Bro.
yellow.
I mean, this is a nightmare. It's like the white snow, gray smoke, red blood everywhere. Dead ninjas coming at you with shurikens and fucking knives and shit. But like Yasuke and the samurai, like, they're awesome. And there are many of them. There is, a battle, but Yasuke bodies a couple of these guys and he fucking chops them up real good. But I mean, this is also, if you remember from Dan Carlin's stuff about the war in the Pacific in Japan, the Japanese did that in World War II as well.
Yeah.
They would pretend to be dead.
Yeah.
And like, or if they were dying, they would and then they'd pull a grenade or something. Like they would wait until the Allied troops would come, and then they'd get up and fucking murk you. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just adding to that mystique.
Oh, yeah.
Because somebody is going back and saying, and then these fucking dead ninja motherfuckers got up after they made magic explode. Like,
I mean, they don't quit, man.
it's pretty crazy.
Dead, living, rising, raising, rising.
Even when they're dead. Even when they're not.
So they end up, winning there. But, Nobunaga still like hates the ninjas.
You can imagine.
Because he had tried to been assassinated a number of times. And I'm jumping a little over here, but I just forgot about that part. An Iga, actually, it was a ninja who was kind of a close neighbor of the Iga area from the Koga domain. This is back in 1570. This was a ninja sniper.
What?
And he laid in wait, hiding like in the grass on a hill by a tree for like 3-4 days, waiting for Nobunaga to pass, like on his, whatever, carriage or whatever. And he had shot at him with 2 shots from, a couple dozen yards. And it blew Nobunaga from his horse, but it would been the musket ball kind of deflected by his armor, and Nobunaga escaped. Nobunaga ordered the would-be assassin hunted down. It took 3 years.
Whoa.
But they found him. And when they found him, do you think they killed him quickly?
I bet they didn't.
Nobunaga personally supervised
Extensive torture.
an agonizing execution, you could say,
Fuck it.
buried up to his neck, and his head was removed in small horizontal slivers, top to bottom, by a very blunt bamboo blade. So,
Wow.
there's that.
Very blunt bamboo
The
blade.
second one,
Are you talking about a haircut?
yeah, little, too much off the top.
You don't need the top of your brain.
The second one,
Bamboo can cut through a fucking skull?
Well, very
Christ.
dull, very blunt,
the other one was a very
Good
infamous ninja who was kind of like a Robin Hood kind of guy.
No.
Nice.
His name was Ishikawa Goemon.
Really good
And
at the
he
archery
was said to
contest.
be from Iga as well. And this was in 1580, right before Yasuke had met him. And he was hiding in the ceiling above Nobunaga's bed and used a thread to target drops of poison into Nobunaga's mouth while he was sleeping.
Oh, that's nice.
That's fucking nice.
What am I saying? That was Kill Bill, right? They did that in Kill Bill. I've seen that in a movie somewhere.
No, you
saw
did
a
see
guy
it.
in the roof of a bed dripping.
Oh no, Gross Point Blank. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, probably got that from this Japanese motherfucker.
Absolutely. That's a really great move. Just a little.
It's also a really great movie.
Yeah.
Gross Point Blank is a good movie.
You know what you do is just get out of the ceiling and just come down with a dagger on.
Well, that's what he did when
But
the guy
surrounded by
turned.
guards and shit.
In the movie, the guy turned,
He was a side sleeper.
and so it hit him.
He's going down. He's up there going.
There we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Hey, get the thread down. Oh shit, it's on his fucking mouth. Yeah, cocksucker, motherfucker. Oh god. Okay, now he's snoring. Hold on. Oh, I got it in there. Oh, you son of a bitch. And he just starts.
Boop, 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 boop.
Drink that.
Shit, I used the vial of my piss.
Oh, that's my piss.
Now I gotta piss.
Oh, now he's addicted to my piss.
shit.
He loves it.
Now he's gonna be superhuman. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, so they do the ninja thing. They come back successfully. All that shit. And now Yasuke's been there for like a year. Things are pretty good. He's got a house. He's got some money. His status is elevated.
Servants, I imagine too.
Yes,
He did.
yes,
Yeah,
he's
he
got
did.
fucking servants. I mean, like they still when Nobunaga first met him, and then later servants would do this to him. They would wash him and expect the ink to come off.
Hmm.
What?
Yeah.
It's kind of
They
embarrassing.
just keep going, and like the servant ladies would be like, "Oh, you're so how are you so muscular? How are you so how are you so black?"
It's
How are
kinda-
you so black? How are you so muscular?
Yeah, yeah.
How's your dick so hard?
Oh God.
Well, we've all been there.
Keep going, lady. It won't be.
If you try harder, the ink will come right off. Go on now.
My Ronin told me.
I'll shoot first.
So Nobunaga's kind of unifying his realm. He's doing things like, you mentioned the economic type of stuff. He would, it was really popular, and he just like extending the economic policies that were successful in his area to the rest of the realm, which was like free markets and open guilds, getting rid of open red tape for stuff, and just which he believed restricted economic growth. But also, this is a different time.
Yes,
where
yes.
that.
It's not like today where we've figured it out.
No, what I'm saying is
No, I know
simple
what you mean.
things
I know
like
what you mean. I
that
know what
work
you
in
mean.
simple times.
Yes, exactly. I know what you mean.
There's not nuclear waste you got to deal with back then.
Exactly.
You just got to make a river so the shit flows down.
The river's on fire again.
And the people who he defeated accepted it because he treated them fairly and gave them jobs, and they looked forward to a brighter future because it was brighter. It was better than war.
Wow.
And there was this honor. I mean, oftentimes people that Nobunaga or a lot of these lords would conquer, if their master committed seppuku, if their master committed seppuku or did some other prostration, he would make some of their samurai his samurai. He would give people jobs, and
Oh, yes.
there was this, there was a code. There was
Yeah.
there was something going on there that was
Well,
on.
it's kind of
It was fucking nice.
it's just a leader. It's like, well, follow me now. You
Yeah.
know, and like
Hey, we're all Japanese.
But I mean, the thing is,
Yasuke.
I think the thing is like, this person failed and I won, and so then I also win the honor of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to hold you
And I did it for
responsible
that.
for
I
their
did it
failure.
knowing that.
Yes,
I did it with the aim of being responsible for it.
Yes,
In a way, it was kind of like an election by combat.
yes, and you are not responsible for being loyal to
Right.
because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I understand the position you're in.
Yeah.
And now at this point, there was this rumors that Nobunaga would make Yasuke even more than a samurai. Would make him a lord, give him his own fiefdom, more servants, an economy to preside over. And if it was at any point before this, it would be, they used to joke about it around the campfires. And then like the local Jesuit priests, Jesuit monks, and other like noblemen were like, yeah, this actually might happen.
And were they not into that?
No, it was totally cool.
Oh.
Yeah. It was just,
Not what I was expecting you to say.
It ended up not being a joke. It ended up being a very real possibility.
Well, right. But I imagine the local people would be like, well, this...
Dude, he was fucking a rock star.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Fair.
they wanted to rip him apart just to get a piece of his skin and clothes. It was Yasuke mania. It wasn't, oftentimes, racism is usually a byproduct of some other sort of economic domination. If something is totally new, it's
exotic.
It's exotic.
And then therefore valuable.
Yes.
Got it.
Sure.
He wasn't a commodity to be exploited by the Japanese people.
No. I didn't mean in that. I meant in the way that
As a foreigner?
Yeah, exactly. Like he doesn't fit in.
Well, if Nobunaga,
It is a notoriously racist society to this day.
I mean, just especially within other just Asian races,
And Americans.
of course, if
That one's kind of fair.
yeah, well,
I mean, so are we.
show me a culture that isn't racist. Show me a race that isn't racist.
Right.
So it's also, if Nobunaga thinks he's good enough, well, then he's good enough.
Right? No. I get it.
So-
but
so everybody
I
gets
also
it.
understand why they don't. They seem to accept him. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
But you wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Sure.
Right.
And so now, Nobunaga is kind of there's this kind of like, all right, what comes next period? And what would happen next would not be any sort of attack from outside. There would be treachery within the Oda clan.
Fuck.
And we're back.
Make time for Suntory time. So perhaps some, treachery is abound.
Oh Christ.
So, there was this guy, Akechi.
Was it? Man?
There was a man.
There was a man
So do we start?
of the Akechi clan. And he was actually part of what?
No, I'm feeling.
Italian?
I'm making a
Italian.
yeah,
Okay.
just feeling.
So,
Classic Frenchman.
sorry, let me pull up my notes here. So he was Akechi was a pretty trusted and a loyal subordinate to Nobunaga.
He's a quiet man.
He was an exemplary warrior. He was the first man that Nobunaga ever gave a castle to as a reward for his diligence and bravery and statesmanship.
It's a pretty fucking big deal.
He had served Nobunaga for over a decade. Despite Nobunaga kind of being a bit of a shithead, I kind of glossed over it before, but he would often have always something smart and shitty to say about horrible shit. Like it was notable that when Hideyoshi told him about the starving people eating each other and stuff,
That he didn't make a joke.
that he didn't make a joke.
Wow.
It was notable that he didn't make a joke.
So I mean, but
So he was kind of a shithead to everybody,
child,
except to Yasuke.
powerful kid, right? He grows.
No,
up.
that was Arima.
Oh,
Arima, yeah.
Different person.
This is just the regular lord, and he's privileged, and so he's
Yeah. And he's also
maybe a powerful.
he
kid,
was also like one of the great unifiers of Japan. Like he earned it.
right.
but kind of a shit.
Yeah, I mean,
he had
a
some-
shitty boss.
Yeah. Okay,
To some people. To some people, he's a shitty boss. To Hideyoshi, his one-time sandal server, who ended up being his almost number one, lieutenant because of his cunning and, engineering genius.
Right.
I mean, he always called him like monkey face. Well, even when he was like the shit,
Yeah.
he just called him monkey face. And even
got
like,
any blueprints, monkey face?
Yasuke was like, there was a reason he was called monkey face. He kind of looked like a monkey.
Oh my god.
Still though, really like not
Just kind
inspiring.
of one of those things. So, anyways, Akechi was loyal despite all this, and they
Sometimes he comes by and fucks my wife.
well,
Hurts my feelings.
It's not
I
ideal.
love the castle and all, but I sure do love my wife
It is
too.
drafty when she's not in the room. With
I mean, Nobunaga also betrayed Akechi's mother by offering her as a hostage exchange to a defeated clan.
Yeah, that's bad.
It was bad.
Bad optics.
Yeah, bad optics.
The optics are bad. Ooh.
The optics of you hostage-ing my mom.
It's not this summer's hottest
It was
look.
fucked up. Like Akechi had guaranteed the clan lord's life in the exchange, but Nobunaga countermanded this order and that he ordered that warlord to be crucified. In retaliation, Akechi's mother was executed.
Yeah, that's the type of thing.
So Nobunaga had
that's-
seemingly shrugged off the whole incident and and Nobunaga continued to rely on Akechi.
That's just, I mean,
But revenge is a dish best served cold.
Right. And that's also a thing too, like in the case of like the 47 Ronin, right?
So similar.
It's just a thing where you go like, all right, chill, motherfucker.
and with ceviche.
Never going to see this coming.
And so Akechi had seemingly moved on because he served him for another 4 years, which
Gladly.
No.
so
Hardly even think about my mother anymore.
What a good trade that was.
there's a bunch of like,
I'm not like Paul.
not at all. So there'd be like political meetings and stuff, and there'd be like very poetic shittiness, like very comic book villain foreshadowing, like
Oh, you won't kill me one day when you're sleeping. I'll murder you.
No. Like,
Okay.
sending having like, a routine meeting, and then there being like, you have to exchange poetry. And, Akechi said,
Oh, like a routine political meeting where you exchange poetry?
yeah, dude, it's fucking
Dear
Japan.
John Kerry.
Dude, these people have death poems. Like
Okay.
if you're on your deathbed, you write
So
your
what
final.
would the...
So this poem that he sends to Nobunaga is Toki wa ima ame ga shizasuru satsuki kana, which means the time is now, the 5th month, when the rain falls. Seasonally appropriate opening to the letter or whatever, perhaps overly so. There were a lot of homonyms in the opening lines of this poem and this letter. So a lot of double entendre. So the word for time, Toki, is identical to Akechi's ancestral clan name, Toki. So the whole poem could just as easily be understood as, it is the 5th month, now Toki shall reign over the lands under heaven.
It's Emily Dickinson had the same poem.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's Japanese. So, so Yasuke is at the fucking, the estate with Nobunaga, sleeping. They're waiting for this. There's going to be this political meeting happening, the next day. And so nobody, they're expecting a clan to come into town. Nobody's on the watch for anything. But like before dawn, fucking conch shells are blowing, a lot of ruckus in the streets. People think that like the townspeople are brawling for something. But then like a continuing volley of like arrows and flaming arrows come in like the same manner of, three consecutive blasts of arrows that Nobunaga had like taught his entire army to do. So he knew that it was coming from the inside.
Jesus.
The place is like explosions of gunpowder, arrows coming in, paper walls lighting on fire, the rice paper blowing up everywhere. It's madness. And Nobunaga's like, Yasuke, get my naginata, which is like the ritual. It's the sword you defend to the end and then commit seppuku with.
Yeah.
And so he tells him to do that. No sooner than that, the room explodes, just volley after volley of swords. And Yasuke gets his sword, and he has Nobunaga's naginata in his other hand. And Nobunaga's fucking firing. They're firing arrows down at what they see as the Akechi clan. And, they're like, it doesn't matter what or why now. We just need to fucking do this and survive. Nobunaga's bowstring snaps. He's like, give me my fucking thing. He gives him the Nobunaga, or the naginata to Nobunaga. They're coming up the steps, so they have to retreat. And so they're kind of doing this like pincer movement thing.
It happens in every profile.
So they back up into like this stone kind of stairway. They do the 300 thing.
Yeah.
Where they limit to where they can be attacked.
Right.
And Nobunaga gets stabbed. His shoulder's like falling off.
Asshole.
Yasuke like chops off like 4 other dudes' tips of their spears with his sword. They're coming up the steps to him. He fucking bodies them because he's giant and he's strong and he's the best.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. And so he's chopping them up real good. He's cutting faces off. Like, dude, he's the best. And Nobunaga, like,
he's wearing the faces.
The retreat
and acting like, where is he?
The retreat works. And it buys them more time because the rest of the other samurai are kind of holding them off. And so he's back there with Nobunaga, and Nobunaga's like, you know what to do. Well, first, I have to do this, then you know what to do. So Nobunaga fucking seppuku, puts his head down. Yasuke chops it off, catches it so it doesn't have the disgrace of falling against the floor.
Damn.
He takes it, and he fucking gets it to Nobunaga's son. It's like, this is your father's head. That's what you do. You get it because I didn't talk about it in this story, but so much of these political acts and the kind of the symbol of the trophy of the transfer of power is the guy's head. Dude, the head arrives in a box, and it's like you do not disrespect the head. The head is like, all right, now the act is done, and we respect our fallen adversary, and this is now what it is.
But what if you get bad head?
Well, then you don't. There's no such thing as bad head.
Okay.
So if they don't get that, the idea is to get the head, to get a head.
You got to get the head.
So
get the fuck.
He gets the head to the son, and then he goes back and he starts chopping up more guys. And
the son's cradling.
He's fighting more of them. They get him, and
they slice him.
They stab him up pretty good. They slice him. They dice him, but they just knock him out. He drops his head down. Like, they hold him down. He's
pretending to be dead.
No. He would have killed him. He would have committed seppuku, but they held his arms apart. And so he puts his head down as to get beheaded, and they don't do it. And he wakes up. And he's up and he bring him in front of Akachi. And they're like, "Where's the head?" And he won't tell him.
Holy shit.
Where's the head? He won't tell him. I'm like, fine, fuck it. So then they drag him somewhere, and then they find out why they kept him alive. They take him to a local Jesuit monastery. Akachi brought Yasuke, now that he couldn't get what he needed out of him, to the local Jesuits as a sign of goodwill to win their favor.
Shit.
Like, we wanted to get that, we can't get that, so we got to make do what we can because we don't have enough. We can't take over the fucking entire Nobunaga clan. Right. This was supposed to be, I was supposed to get the head. Now what do? I got to find a way to bolster my forces to really take it over. Otherwise, all of Nobunaga's forces are going to fuck me up for this treachery.
Right.
Because all I had was my little clan,
And the head.
And if I can get some favor by bringing Yasuke to the Jesuits, maybe
I can get the head.
Right.
Or even if you can't get the head, you can get something comparable.
Yeah, you won't get the head, but you'll get
the ass.
You'll get some help when the hammer comes down, as it undoubtedly should. They thought they had a little bit of time, but they didn't, because Hideyoshi, the fucking brilliant sandal warmer, had intercepted messages as they were on their way, so he had already been coming to bolster Nobunaga's forces, but he couldn't get there in time. So he has these fucking guys reroute rivers to flood the castle, and he fucking goes and he murks everybody and reclaims everything for
Hideyoshi?
Yeah.
Dude, man.
Sandal warmer?
Bro, he comes back like at the end, like fucking Han with the Millennium Falcon at the end of Star Wars, like,
bro, that is fucking out of hand.
Yeah. And
what the fuck? He's rerouting rivers?
Yeah.
Good Christ almighty.
I mean, dude, like, there are Japanese giant engravings and paintings of this, of the giant flood that is created to like surround the castle, to trap in Akachi.
Wow.
And
it is kind of, if you think about it, the bukkake of the betrayer. If you,
It's a betrayal bukkake.
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
That's really good, John.
the nation's rivers
Just
emptying their clips all over this guy that was insubordinate. Have you thought about that at all?
I tried not to because I don't want to come on my iPad.
I don't want to come on it either, but now
Come on, guys. I mean, you know,
You wish.
come on, guys. But it's okay. This is actually a serious comment. It speaks to the thing of I think I had it in one of the episodes about where I discovered the thing about the main thing that was so advantageous and superior about Caesar's army is that every soldier was also a builder.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody was like, okay, well, the enemy's up there. And they're like, okay, well, like in fucking 2 days, we're just going to build a thing so that we're up there with them.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, it makes sense.
To reroute rivers and flood a cat, like it speaks to the same kind of thing, even though it's, you know, obviously much later or whatever, but still massive feat.
Yeah, I mean, there's always an Army Corps of Engineers.
Right.
And so that is what was done here.
Yeah.
We're going to reroute it. You know, it's not impossible, but it is an amazing feat, but it is a tactic of warfare.
Right.
Damming a river to cut off a supply of water.
Right. And I think that's what we were saying the other day, too, about why we think probably a lot of this shit in Ancient Aliens is bullshit, because it's just like, what else was there to do but move rocks?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
People are like, how could they know? It's like, just...
They were the best at moving rocks because that's all they knew.
And also you had to convince people that like life had purpose, like, so they wouldn't just rebel. And
like how often were they moving rocks before someone was like, you know, there's a better way to do it, and they're like, oh yeah,
just even convincing somebody there's a scheme or a plan is like, it's a thing to make people follow you.
How many times do you do something before you're like, there's a better way to do it? Now imagine that over millennia with 10,000 people.
Right.
And there's just someone's going to be like, you know, what if there's a ramp?
Yeah.
What's a ramp? Well, it's kind of like a tilted wood thing.
Yeah. Shit slides down it faster than other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool. That sounds awesome.
I mean, there's just so much more. Like, one of the other Nobunaga loyalists, like, hired Hattori Hanzo to smuggle him through Akechi forces to get him closer to the action. And Hattori Hanzo was like a leader of a ninja clan who had rebelled against Nobunaga prior, but was like not about the insert. Like, there's just, this is like the Forrest Gump of like samurai ninja stories.
Right.
Like, everyone's involved. And then there's this guy here who's just a part of all of it, who is so seemingly against the odds to, like, should never have even been there.
Right.
But he somehow is there for all of the action.
Right.
I mean,
but he's also surviving.
Of course.
But now he's been handed to the Jesuits.
Yeah, and they, you know, he's one of them.
And that doesn't matter because Hideyoshi is coming and just undermining the rebellion. Anyway.
Yeah, Hideyoshi reroutes the rivers and floods and makes an artificial lake to surround Takamatsu Castle and turns it into an island. And like, he had also paid other ninja to just spread chaos everywhere. He turned it into a fucking nightmare.
Ninja or samurai?
Ninja. Hired ninja. The samurai hired ninja to go sow more chaos around, like, the flooding and creation of an artificial lake.
That is fucking insane.
Dude, the guy,
cool.
when you figure out you make the guy's sandals warm and you get ahead, you start getting crafty.
Yeah.
The thing I do is I keep them in the pits here.
I keep the
Keep the
ninjas.
feet.
You know, Akechi snuck through a bamboo grove when
I change rivers.
when Hideyoshi's guys were coming for him. He snuck through like a bamboo grove and got into like snuck into a tiny village, and he was speared by a common bandit with a bamboo spear. Jesus. And he died in a muddy ditch. Akechi ruled Japan for 13 days.
Wow.
And Hideyoshi broke the coup, and Yasuke waited for months to hear anything from any of Nobunaga's, loyals, and never heard.
Did Hideyoshi take over?
Yes, because he was the next in line. I mean, and he did it for the honor of his master, for the Oda clan.
And did he unite Japan too?
Japan wouldn't be united for a minute.
Okay.
It wouldn't be. I don't think it was him who did it. Because it would then go into another shogunate, but I think it was not Hideyoshi.
Ah.
Japan would close themselves off to the west again.
Because of...
I don't know if because of this, but they'd close themselves off to the west, and I think they even got rid of guns.
Wow.
Because I think Japan is the only like modern era. They were like, they had guns for a while from the west, and then they just got rid of them and went back to their old ways of samurai shit.
Well, it's too out of hand.
Yeah, because that was like the
What a
end of
mess.
the Edo period.
It was a mess.
Good God.
And so Yasuke, well, I'll tell you what happened with Hideyoshi. I just found it here. Forgot. Hideyoshi proposed that Nobutada, Nobunaga's son, who just had a kid, as the immediate, he just made Nobunaga's grandson the immediate heir.
Not the son.
Right. But it was a direct lineage. And he was 2 years old and became the clan head, made Hideyoshi the real, like the clan head regent.
Right.
And he ran the Odo clan for a while after that, before that all ended. And
So the
because
two-year-old appointed...
yeah, because Nobutada was dead.
Right.
Nobunaga died. His son died
Right.
after the whole head incident. And then, but the 2-year-old was alive. So Hideyoshi was like, well, the natural line of succession is the 2-year-old, and well, he's a kid, so I'm going to run it. And Yasuke was still a samurai, technically, but samurai without a master, a ronin. And
Fuck, what an arc.
he did not serve under Hideyoshi because he had his own people going, never called for Yasuke. Jesuits didn't really know what to do with him either.
Did he get his castle back?
He never had a castle. He had a house.
Oh, okay.
Yasuke had a nice land, and he had
It's really still, it's an extension of your boss.
Yeah.
The servants
Still
you
working
have.
for somebody.
When you're a Ronin, he probably, I would guess, went from place to place getting adventures.
Yeah, so he stayed. he stayed in the Jesuit compound for a few
Like
months.
Kane, the Kung Fu.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. He also wasn't. So the Jesuit were like, oh, we can't really, this is kind of an embarrassment to kind of hear. Like, this is kind of reminding us of all a big fuck up. And so he kind of did leave. He left Kyoto, left war, left politics. It's nobody really knows, but he likely kind of went from Jesuit mission to Jesuit mission. Might have been a pirate for a while. Maybe went and had some kids. Then there's just legend stuff down the road.
Right.
And that's, if you want to get into it, you can get into it. But some people who had very dark skin, a lineage of, half black people living in Japan and in Kyoto and stuff like that. But it's very likely that he left the country entirely.
Right.
And just went on doing some legendary adventures.
Faded off into the sunset.
That's right.
Yeah. Shit.
Kind of what those crazy equalizers do,
Yeah, it's
You never
pretty
had a
cool,
home.
man.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool shit.
That's really cool. Hell of a story.
I mean, good God almighty, how crazy.
Yasuke.
Just all these swaths of life he just went through, right?
He's a survivor.
Yeah, he's a survivor. That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Man. Like, what do you even think as you're, just country to country and just being like, what the fuck? People look
No, I guess I'm here now.
God, wow.
Is he more comfortable in chaos or quiet? Which, that's...
Some people are good at both.
Well, you were saying, what was this Portuguese guy?
Valignano.
He would let him go study.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Valignano was really good about making sure all of the people that worked for all of the missionaries, everybody under him,
Well educated.
and assimilating into the culture that they were in.
Mm.
So it was learn the customs, dress like them, do as they do. It's the only way they're going to accept you and us.
Right.
And he was pretty. I mean, Valignano was as good as he could be at old dog new tricks. He wasn't as proficient in Japanese as Yasuke would be. He was a busy man, so he was busy doing so much, diplomatic work that he didn't have that much time to bone up on the culture of Japan, where, he'd been in India before that. And so there's only so much that he can do himself, but he can't have his subordinates be true, representatives of the Jesuit order.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Yasuke is probably understanding the human condition, but he has to learn the cultural condition too. And so, you can see the threads of human nature, but you also have to kowtow to what's the usual.
No, it's probably Kyoto. It's Kyoto.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a killer story. The book, like I mentioned, is really the best version of any of the Yasuke accounts because there's so little available other than, there's so little direct primary accounts. So these two guys did a lot of work on piecing together things from rival document, not just Valignano's work or not just Nobunaga's scribe stuff, like from everywhere else, and then filling in the blanks of, okay, well, if his name was this and he came from here, it was like it from this part of Mozambique, and he came from this port because of the things they described there, and the maps and the shipping logs and stuff like that. Like deep work was put into it. Like no book comes close to this one.
Yeah, there's also
everything else is a graphic novel or a 50-page book.
Right.
There's also a thing too of if you're in those positions, first of all, you're way more into keeping your ears open than opening your mouth, right? Yep. So it's like you're not gonna get like his fucking his verses of opinions about you.
Yeah, Yasuke's not saying, and then if I were to do it, I would do it like this.
Tell you what,
right.
But my favorite place so far is pretty much Japan. I really, you're not there's not it's just just be aware, survive, like you said, and probably the more places you go, the more aware you get of at least the basics of human nature, even if the customs are different and the codes of honor, etc., are different. One thing I was going to say to you was, and this is just I guess like a personal ask, is the confluence of the religion, the politics, and economics. I think has always been. Those have pretty much been airtight throughout history. There's always one leads to the other. I would say less so with religion now, quite a bit.
Well, now the economics is the religion.
Right. So I would say we're pretty much down.
We've consolidated a little bit.
We've kind of gotten rid. Like it doesn't. I don't think.
But it's still there.
It's there.
I mean, it depends.
But
it depends.
And it depends on where you are. But even then,
but globally, I would say. It's
even then,
significantly.
The church is not issuing coin anymore.
Well, globally, it's reduced. But what do you say about
Islam?
White supremacists? There's many of them have connections to churches.
Yeah, but
Al Qaeda. It's
yes, I would say with Islam, the church runs more of it, but it's also like their brand of Islam, and listen, I got mad criticism about all religions, but also, the white supremacists here are not chanting Bible verses. They don't have Bible pages in their coats.
No, not many.
City.
But what does it mean when they go to a church to do it? What does it mean
when they go to a church to do what?
Commit mass murder. I mean,
well, they're doing it at a church. If it was really for religion, they wouldn't be doing it at a church.
Not necessarily.
So when the white supremacists, when the Christian white supremacists are killing black people, they're still bombing a church. So it's a racial thing, not a religious thing.
I would agree with that.
No, I understand that, but it does seem, okay, and it could be, well, that's where they are, so that's why I do it there. I understand.
Oh, like why school shootings happen at schools because there's no guns there?
No, that's
well, they're there.
No, that's not what I mean at all.
No, but I mean, I'm not criticizing you. They know that schools don't have anybody defending them.
Right.
No, but also it's kids who go to school who do it.
Well,
but
they know that there are no people with guns there.
Right.
Yeah, but that's all they spend all their time there. But we're getting off on a whole other thing. But I'm just saying there still is, I think, a religious aspect. It's not as strong as it used to be.
Yes.
But there still is, in many instances, it's definitely not as strong
You're pulling your thing out.
It is definitely not as strong as it used to be.
Right. It's not. It's not. Right.
It's not. I think it still has a role to play, but I think it's been significantly reduced.
The religion, money is the religion now.
Right. And I think also
they've combined.
But even back then too, in countries like, for instance, in Japan at that time, you would have an equal Buddhism, Shintoism kind of flux before the Christians showed up. Nazi Germany was pretty much split down the middle, Protestant Catholic. Not really a problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? It wasn't dividing the country or anything. It was kind of like, I think Hitler was Catholic.
He was.
And, they still just got all on the same page of something really fucked up.
Right.
So that kind of shows, I think, that religion, even at that point, had taken a backseat to politics and economics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also very, very recent.
It is.
50 years ago, 100 years ago is very recent.
Right.
The church lost a lot of power when, people realized they didn't need them to trick them into doing things anymore. And when science came, the mass adoption of science.
I think, also a big way to push yourself out of it is to, horribly abuse the people that are like the most devoted to you.
Sure.
If you're going to have any reason to question it, like, oh my God, when I was going to fucking Ireland,
it's also a good way to keep people around.
The 80s and stuff, it was just like, mass. Everybody go to mass, it was like poor people in the back so they wouldn't be seeing the richest people in the front so they would be. And it was like a whole...
And the less, the
pageantry of it.
The poorer the society, the greater peace, the greater stake religion has in the operation of the culture.
Yeah.
It's there to give hope to the hopeless.
Right.
And to control them with that hope.
And that's why like the drug czars will be the ones building the churches and then putting a statue of themselves out front. Because it's adjacent sainthood. To be like, see where you get,
Remember who paid for this.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like a Boy Scout badge of like, well, I also do this.
Right.
It's the thing, the tallest buildings used to be the churches and now they're the banks.
Right.
Right.
Well, all right, it was the churches and then the capitals of
the town hall,
which was the state, and
now it's the banks.
So if you want to know where the church is, look at,
and that's a Joseph Campbell thing. If you want to hate on that, go dig up his grave.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
but also,
how can you hate Joseph Campbell?
There must have been some
sweetest man in the world.
Some political tall buildings too, like in the Roman Empire and stuff like. There must have been.
That's number two. The first was religion.
Yes.
The second was the state.
Yes.
So the political building.
And then
the capital building.
Then it's
the economic.
And Campbell was saying that's how you judge what matters to a society is what their tallest building. And so if we take a look out to our balcony here in LA, we will see
Korean Air.
We will see Korean Air and then 4 buildings for banks.
Yes.
Because the banks are supporting the air.
Yeah, they fill it up with money.
Yeah, I think the U.S. Bank building is the tallest in L.A.
It was up until the Korean Air building.
Yeah.
No shit.
Because of the spire.
It's one of those dumb, yeah.
And, I know, listen, with these profiles, just so everybody knows.
We're idiots.
It takes a long time to just get into what you're into about a story. So sometimes we ask each other questions and we're like, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes we just bullshit.
But I was going to ask you, do you have any idea about why the shutdown happened to the outside influence after? From Europe and stuff like that?
Oh, dude, I should, but I don't.
Okay.
But
it just kind of sounds like they were like,
for a reason.
Fuck this.
See what happens when we let these fucking European people. They smell like shit. They bring guns. Shut it down.
You see what happens.
I should know, but I'm embarrassed to say I don't.
No, I think it might be some kind of thing of just like,
we got our own thing going here.
The fight was fair then. It might be one of those kind of things like, we're going to leave that alone for a minute and just be like, go back to who actually deserves it. It's kind of an honor thing.
And there's this thing of like,
Doesn't it seem kind of like
anytime you introduce,
you know, when Mr. Fuji would slip a steel chair into the ring?
that's exactly what it is. Ironically, it's Mr. Fuji doing it.
He should know better than anybody else.
So,
Man,
it's-
I was the Portuguese one the whole time.
Anytime you let this outside element in that's got some like, you know, advantage, they're just, what's the best way to conquer somebody? Have them conquer themselves.
Oh yeah,
Divide and conquer.
Yeah,
I'm going to come in and give one of you guys some guns.
right.
And then I'm going to come back later.
What
after
happened? Yeah.
We fucked up.
Oh my god.
So I'm assuming it was, you know, I'm assuming there was a realization that outside Western European influence was a sullying force.
Destabilizing.
Yeah, and also just they were smelly. They didn't shower. They were dirty Europeans fucking up our sweet Japanese shit we got going on.
They didn't take their shoes off when they entered the house.
They believed they were superior. It's so interesting. It's like all the stuff with I don't know if Shintoism has any bloody history, but the Buddhism
Is it a religion?
Buddhism certainly does.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
yes, they all. Yes, dude, it's a religion.
Bloodbaths.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just horrible.
Yeah.
Uh,
More people need to know about that.
Shintoism, I don't really know.
If it's a religion, they've killed for it.
I believe it
Even
is.
I'm sure there's been a Jain that's murked somebody for being cruel to an ant. You know,
Right.
like the irony is, I'm never surprised by the irony of violence in the name of God or religion. You know.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're
I do like the Jains. You know,
they're pretty they're pretty sure that
I like the Thomas Jane.
Yeah. Humans are capable of the most ironic bullshit you could ever imagine.
And for the
At least dogs are like, there's no irony with them.
Yeah.
They're just fucking stupid. But humans would be like, I'm against murder.
They do bite the hand that feeds them.
Yeah,
That's pretty ironic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're right. So even then, I'm already.
The hand that
I like that they're failing over and over again in the Crusades, and like, how about kids?
Yeah.
That'd be creepy. Imagine you're some godless guy in the Middle East, and you see a bunch of kids, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing now?
Well, I mean, if you're running the shop where they're all running through, you're like, well, this is a new season for us.
they're small targets.
Yeah. It's true.
But also, you know, the Crusades were in response to 800 years, 700 years of, you know, Muslim rule in Europe.
Yes, and
I mean, none of it's cool.
No, exactly.
But I mean, cause, effect, you know, reaction, action, reaction. I mean,
oh, that's the thing. You know, I was
Connection.
It was one of these things.
Connection.
You know, my dad, even though he lived 20 years in England, as an Irish guy, he was like fucking indignant about the British and Ireland and stuff like that. And then my buddy John gave me this book, The History of the Irish Race. And like chapter 10 was Irish invasions of England. And I was like, I didn't even know that fucking happened. And it's like, was all of that just a response?
wasn't that
to
why they built? I mean, maybe this is the Scottish, but isn't that why they built Hadrian's Wall? Was like to keep them out.
To keep the
Scottish
Scottish out.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, a lot of
like we're just gonna build a wall of ice and magic to keep the North folk out.
And if you see it now, it's like 4 foot tall. And the Scots are like, I want to be back, you fucker.
We were shorter people back then. God forbid you said Yasuke here, dwarf us.
You didn't count on us swimming, did you? You daft cunt.
My son is 5 feet
I'll
tall.
be in Liverpool by noon. You bastard, yeah.
Don't tell the Irish. A lot of them are Scottish too.
Oh,
Don't tell the Irish a lot of them are Scottish?
What? Huh?
do you know what they love being called Scotch?
Yeah, Scotch.
Yeah. Don't tell the Irish a lot. What are you saying?
I'm saying they couldn't get over the wall.
What do you mean?
What?
You're saying they're short? I don't understand.
Dude,
What?
I don't fucking know. This is not about Yasuke anymore, and I'm really bummed out.
Who?
Well, he was 6 foot. He could jump right
Yeah,
over
he
that.
could just
fucking-
do it.
That was a
He
hurdle.
could dunk on that wall all day.
He did.
He'd probably go back and forth fighting for the English and the Scottish. With me, lads!
You call this a wall?
Give him steel, boys. Aaron,
You like it?
That was
it okay?
That was great.
it was really, really very good. I do enjoy it when there's a bit of a mysterious character.
Yeah, and Yasuke is that character. He was kind of the eyes,
Well, it was all
Forrest Gump, I think.
I think Forrest Gump is the way to put it.
It was all about, I think, everybody's interpretation of him.
Right.
And never really about anything he actually said.
He was...
But what he did is what he said.
He existed, and he was there, and...
He spoke with his actions.
What?
Well, yeah, it's not Bigfoot.
No, I'm just saying that, like, so much of what we don't know even any words he might have said.
No, there's nothing. But just
everything about him is
action. Yeah.
Is the reaction to it.
Yeah, the movie Kagemusha by Kurosawa.
Oh, yeah?
That involved Nobunaga when he was a younger man. It involves, it's kind of a little bit of a prequel to Nobunaga's run up to being the big warlord that he was. So like Nobunaga is a big name in Japanese history.
Yeah.
Yasuke was right there with him.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's so fucking crazy.
Kagemusha?
It's just like, a lot of...
Kwaki Serpini?
A lot of the history that survives, too, is like, just so... it's really well documented, whenever anything is, any kind of a civilization, and people be like, oh, and then, this daimyo is fucking indebted to this guy.
Yeah,
and
usually it's economic records to start.
Right.
And that's if you really want to get into like, if you want the real meat and potatoes, get into the, the ledgers.
Yeah.
Usually the ledgers can be, it's harder to propagandize the ledgers.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting to think about, like, the how do you read a civilization, and it begins, it's like
an account
bowls.
Yeah. But
it's like
how many bales of hay?
Right. But even before that is, what are the leftovers that were paved over by the next thing? And then once you have a ledger, which is connections, we'll talk about next Patreon. I got a connections.
Hey, nice.
But it's kind of fascinating to think about the human. What is the history of humanity through these different?
Well, there's also something to that, right? Too. If you were, say, a guy trying to be the shogun,
emperor,
and you were going around to the different lords, the daimyos or whatever, and you go like, all right, does this guy run business correctly?
Right. Yeah.
Isn't it kind of like a thing where like the ledger is most important to show?
Yeah.
No matter who my master is, he knows that the bills get paid.
Right.
It's kind of like...
Well, also just the act of having a ledger just shows that you're on top of things.
Oh, good. You've got it written down.
Exactly.
We do things differently at this bank. We'll keep a list
of
where the money is and how much you have. And we'll keep that list safe. Probably in the same place we keep the money.
Right. But if somebody's just like, well, that guy gave me a goat and I owe him sheep. You go like, all right, this guy's got no
Well, that's how it starts.
That's how it starts. But it's all...
It's usually that guy gave me a goat. I owe him my daughter.
It's like it's whale teeth to sheep dung or so,
This guy's sheep dung is the best.
It's the best.
Starts a fire for single match.
Can you believe that guy gave me sheep dung for 2 whale teeth? I can get those anywhere.
What a fool.
I gave him my most fucked up daughter. Trying to get rid of her for years.
She's a real nightmare. I'm telling you.
My son.
She's not even a virgin. Guess how I know? Oh no!
How could this
Just
happen?
like Paulina?
No.
Thank you for saying the most offensive thing at the end.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, if you made it this far, you deserve. If you made it this far through Yasuke, then you deserve a little incest joke, a little commentary on patriarchal, dowries.
The power dynamic.
What do you think? We done?
Yeah.
You like that kind of stuff? Ended on a high note.
I really did like it a lot. It's it's very, very interesting, and I kind of want to look at the 47 Ronin episode we did again to see what the timeline is like. And
it's pretty close.
Yeah,
pretty close.
Yeah, I mean
less than 100 years.
Just so fascinating.
That's the era of fucking. I mean, just Warring States period. This is all so close.
Yeah.
He's not making this up.
No,
and
you can't make
the
this
slow fucking nature of war, like Jesus Christ, like just year in, year out, you're like, what? If you're just a farmer, you're like, what now?
Yeah, when Hideyoshi,
What the
Especially
fuck
if you're a
now?
farmer.
when Hideyoshi,
I'm trying to give this cow a massage.
going to flood they were amazed that his army did 25 miles a day. It was like an incredible feat for them to do 25 miles a day to
all
make
of
it
them
back.
made it. Yeah.
How many days did it take? Like after the head was cut off and Yasuke is just waiting around. I mean, waiting around? Waiting sucks. Never mind being like,
It's the hardest part.
not knowing if you're going to die. It's just everything
Where's the head? Where's the head? Holy shit, here comes the fucking river. Cocksucker mother.
Every day, it's just
You black bastard! We didn't say anything up until now.
You tall, silent, non-diary
You
keeping
good-looking, ebony skin,
You
fat son of a bitch.
okay.
All right, we're done.
We're out of here. We're out of
Let's
here.
get out of here,
Guys, the invective. Guys, Aaron, that was wonderful. I'm going to say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
My name is Aaron Pita.
Ever so.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Starburns Audio.